Hey!
In unison, hey. Hey everyone, welcome to, I don't even know what episode of Legends of Avantris. 16! Wow, of Legends of Avantris. We've been doing this a while. Welcome, thank you. We are a group of players who've been playing for 2.5 years. 5th edition campaign of Dungeons & Dragons in an entirely homebrew world, the setting of Avantris, our own personal setting. And we do a little bit of rules as written, a little bit of mostly rules as written, but a little bit of homebrew, so we can complain there. I'm rushing through everything so we can get into the session as quickly as possible because got a lot to get through potentially. And with that, I think we'll introduce the table real quick. We have our guest player Derek, who's been guesting for a little bit. He plays Mathias, a human revenant paladin. He was drowned by his former crew member, Adelaide Blue, was brought back by some mysterious force, we don't know who, and was given the powers of a vengeance paladin, and he's seeking her. We then have Rodek Stonehearth, a dwarf fighter. Hey. He comes from the northern region of Mammoth. His city is basically in an eternal war with frost giants. He's trying to understand the importance of a mysterious warhorn that's always frosty to the touch. We then have Ganji Stormscale, played by Scodes over here. He's a dragonborn, bronze dragonborn war cleric of Bahamut. He has been tasked to look for powerful artifacts to help in his people's war with his people's war with the chromatic dragonborn, trying to figure that out. We then have Sylvie Flickerwicket, played by Nikki. She is a forest gnome warlock of the Arcfey variety. She fell into a Forfeit crossing, met Titania, Queen of the Summer Court, and then got warlock powers, and she pledges her life and her service to the Summer Court. That's what she's up to. We then have Annulin Mossgrove, played by Kelsey. She's a wood elf ranger. Her village was raided by fire giants. Her father was killed. Her mother was kidnapped, put into slavery, we think, and she's looking for ways to best save her. Finally, we have Avantris Truestrike, played by Andy. He is a high elf rogue, a bounty hunter, seeking the head of Orpheus Radamanthus, the dangerous tiefling sorcerer who they've been chasing the entire campaign for 2.5 years at this point. And that's where we're at. I guess then we can get back into what happened last session. Yeah. Last session, you guys had killed a bunch of cultists, rescued a prisoner who was in the process of being drowned, and you saved her. You learned that her name was Cecily Larbard. She was the widow of a whaler who had been killed by the crooks in the siege of Gullhaven. You just decided to let her go because you really couldn't do anything with her. It was way too dangerous going forward. You knew that Diandra was that way. She decided to stay in the mouth of the cave, or the cave in the mouth, depending on which meme you prefer. And you then made your way into what seemed to be like a temple built around a massive, eternally rotting corpse of a black dragon. Gandhi did some research around the bas-reliefs and learned the story of Bakr Ghul, the Putrid Doom, one of the most powerful black dragons in recorded history, that was betrayed by a black dragon cult that seemed to worship this otherworldly force that killed him for some reason, and they are awaiting someone who would call the Whispers and bring about the return of the primeval one. After easily dispatching some ghosts that were guarding it, they made their way through the temple, basically a water temple, some puzzles, some shenanigans, avoided a lot of combat. Sylvie made friends with a water elemental myrmidon, avoided some spooky chuls and a Kuotoa archpriest, and then managed to figure out how to get into the hallway that led deep into the earth to a huge cavern opening, it seems. And they heard the voices of Orpheus and Diandra. And with that, let me start my music.
Orpheus!
Orpheus!
Adelaide!
You guys and your biz.
Various
vendettas.
I hope they do die.
These guys need to all find their home somewhere.
So,
where were we? Do we remember?
We weren't anywhere.
We're in the Mine Theater, so that's where we are?
Yeah, we're in the Mine Theater.
So you guys have enjoyed enjoyed a short rest on your walk down there. You then had the chance to examine the trident while you were walking down, is the Trident of Fish Command. I believe I gave you the card already.
Yeah.
And so you are all stealthing. I still have your stealth numbers here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
And before you is a cavern with an incredibly high ceiling that disappears into the darkness. Were it not for your dark vision, you'd be faced with nothing but inky nothingness. Outstretched across the expanse of the cavern is completely still black water. Rocks and cave-side outcroppings punctuate the space, as well as tall stone pillars that seem to be covered in strange carvings. Aside from the voices of Diandra and Orpheus that you recognize echoing through the emptiness, it's eerily quiet. The sounds of rushing water and repetitive dripping has ceased. The air is thick with moisture that seems to hang over you like a cloak. It feels unspeakably ancient. Before you stretches a broken stone walkway that is cut through the water toward a four-tiered pyramid made of brown stone. Atop the highest tier sits the enormous skull of a black dragon, flanked by two humanoid figures.
How far away are they?
They're considerably far, it's probably several hundred feet, but as the voices talk, you are able to, the echo is so loud that you're able to pick up what they're saying. And you hear Orpheus's voice, and he sounds irritated. What's taking so long? Bad connection down here. I thought you were chock full of your goddess's blessings. Haven't you sacrificed enough people to be a diamond member of the Umberly Club? And you hear Diandra's voice snap back at him. I'm sorry. For the last time, stop talking. You have no comprehension of the ancient artifacts we're dealing with, or the complexity of the ritual I'm performing. I'm plenty familiar with artifacts, darling, but your meticulousness is getting irritating. I always just wing it, and that generally works out for me. Maybe that's why you had to come groveling to me, to help you use the eyes of the abyss and execute your plan. If it wasn't for the ancient dragon turtle, your lizard pets would have been annihilated by Theramor's fleet. Have some respect and remember that I'm doing you a favor here. And who provided you with a navy of bloodthirsty cutthroats to abduct all your little sacrificial lambs? You can't see him do this, but he's probably doing that. Yeah. Don't pretend this is an act of charity or goodwill toward me. Please, just fulfill your end of the bargain. Be silent and I will. I'm ready.
Okay, so they're 100 feet away. Or can we...
Couple hundred
Several
feet.
hundred.
Couple hundred feet.
Right. How... Is there like a way we can sneak up to them? Like,
Yeah,
is there
like what's the cover? Like, I mean, I know there's there's a dragon skull, but do we have any kind
I
of?
think we can uncover the map.
Okay.
Oh, that's exciting.
Actually, hold on. No, most of the map. Hey. So I am giving you...
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. So, you guys are all right here. Stone walkway, broken stone walkway as described, going up. Four-tiered pyramid.
That is the most accurate drawing of a dragon skull
Pretty
I've
good.
ever seen.
Pretty good. It doesn't look like a penis, finally.
Well,
Pillars covered in
I mean, it kind of does look like a penis with two bones hanging off of it. But
Pillars covered in carvings. These are little outcroppings that raise up into the sea cave.
Do we know where approximately the two humanoid figures who are discussing are standing?
they're right next to the penis with the two bones coming
Up here.
out of it.
Got it.
So we're really far away.
Correct.
Putting myself out there. We only have like one representative here.
As Diandra makes a quick circle around the skull, you see far off that she's holding a trident. You remember her having a trident when you first entered the church, and when Avantris dive bombed her in Sephiroth into her. She raises the trident that she's holding and into the air before flipping it upside down and thrusting it into the dragon's skull. The bladed tip breaks through the skull, and bone fragments are sent flying through the air in the moment of impact. The gems on, you see a glowing blue light coming from a helmet that you now realize that she's wearing, and radiating from the trident. And all immediately a tendril of water-like blue energy shoots towards the back of the cavern, followed by an eruption of bright blue light that illuminates the entire chamber. The previously still water begins thrashing about violently. Now, we can reveal the rest of it, because it's illuminated.
Oh boy.
Oh. That's blue, but I wanted to differentiate what that is.
There's a hairy ball sack.
A hairy
That is a
blue
gigantic
ball
hairy bull sack.
By the way, we're an 18 plus stream.
Poor Mike can't catch a break today.
Yeah. 18 plus mature stream. Sorry, guys.
Just in case you missed the annual, and there's a hairy ball sack on the map.
Yeah.
I can't catch it. I can't catch a break, you guys.
Hairy ball sack.
It's technically
At the
supposed
far
to be blue.
end
It's supposed
of
to
the
be-
subterranean pool is now a huge blue beam, similar to the one that you saw in Gullhaven that Diandra summoned, pulsing violently with energy and seawater that is seemingly gushing from the beam, and an arc of energy connecting all the way to the trident on top of the pyramid.
Like this way.
Yeah. You see Diandra raise her trident up into the air, and her hand, or no, the trident's like in there. She raises her hands up into the air. With the eyes of the abyss, the fang of the kraken, and the skull of the putrid doom, I call you back to this plane, primeval one, as I was called by the whispers of the five evils.
We should probably do something about
This is so bad.
You then hear Orpheus' voice. What? What are you doing? Return, reform from those blackest depths. Reclaim the world you created, the world that will soon be drowned like it was in the Elder Times. Wreak your vengeance on all the gods that crumbled your immemorial empire.
Yeah, can we start?
We should probably
Can
start
I-
moving
I
on.
leave it, and I say, can I go?
I wanted
All
to,
go.
I'd be wanting to hear more of what she said, but I think we should go now, yes.
Silent,
Going for Orpheus.
as you,
Can we like hustle in
As
like
you-
stealthily?
as you,
One
of those little jogs.
Yeah, I think something's about to happen.
as you decide to rush in, right in that moment, I'm going to need everyone to make a wisdom saving throw.
Oh. Is this against magic?
I would say no.
Oh, baby, I got that natty 20.
Oof. I don't have inspiration or anything, do I?
I'm gonna use my inspiration.
So my roll is a 21.
Yeah, I'm
so I
actually
plus
going
one
to use
wisdom.
magic.
I got an 18.
That's better.
Okay.
I don't
14.
have inspiration, so I got a 3. Or, sorry, I got a 7, but...
14.
18. I'm sorry,
18.
20.
Wait, hang on. Wisdom?
Yeah,
Well,
wisdom.
sorry, let me make sure.
I was gonna say
And you're proficient too, right?
Yeah,
you're not
I got a
that
10,
wise.
actually.
10.
Still, it might not be enough.
So as you were running, sprinting your way in, and Diandra made her chant, silence immediately falls over the cavern as an erratic blue beam shifts to the color of obsidian and calms to a perfectly still pillar of energy. Then, a gargantuan shape emerges. And after the wisdom saving throw, you are all paralyzed for a minute. But I'll explain. A gargantuan shape emerges, black beneath the surface of the water. Instantly, whispers of horrific gibbering in an incomprehensible language seem to assault your consciousness, as terrifying visions consume your mind.
And we all fail.
You all failed. Did anyone get a 25 or higher? So, you all take.
We're all going insane.
You all take.
Well,
Holy shit.
knowing you.
You take 11 points of psychic damage.
Holy shit. I'm assuming I can't cunningly dodge out of the way of my own brain, right?
No, I would say no.
Not without more damage.
Terrifying images, unique to each of you, assault your brain. Mathias.
Aye.
You are absolutely freezing and soaking wet. Your wrists and ankles are bound in heavy manacles, and you realize you're chained to an anchor and plummeting through the crushing water to the sea floor. You look upward, and impossibly you see the face of Adelaide Blue, completely unharmed and grinning maliciously. You failed, again. In one final moment, you see a condensed vision of a long and healthy life for Adelaide Blue before disappearing into the depths. Rodek. You see Hreindar, home. But its 3 colossal walls have been smashed to pieces. Its villages and great mountain city pillaged and brought to ruin. Thunder cracks the sky and snow falls upon hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dwarven corpses, cleaved apart, your parents, your siblings, and your uncle among the slain. The earth shakes as looming figures of frost giants wander through the carnage to pick through the remains of the fallen kingdom. One of the giants, you notice, has a struggling brown ram in its clutches.
Oh no.
You recognize it to be Randy right as its head is bitten off.
Oh no.
Diandra,
Oh my god, that's so brutal.
It's pretty bad.
you
It's
kneel
11
in the
damage,
glorious temple of Bahamut back in Shaitan. You pray and pray, reaching out for your god, but receive no answer. The familiar warmth and touch you had once felt whenever you called to your deity is gone, and his love is absent in your heart. You've lost your faith in him, and so he has lost his faith in you. As you are ejected from the temple and stripped of your rank in the church, you see the specters of your fallen comrades watching, faces twisted in unbearable disappointment. They fade, betrayed and unavenged. Sylvie. You're standing in the middle of a court, the most gorgeous structure you've ever seen. Surrounding you, seated, are elegantly dressed fey beings looking upon you with expressions of absolute disdain and disgust. Directly before you, atop a brilliant throne, sits Titania in her horrifying beauty. She is the most displeased of all. You have failed her tremendously and brought shame upon the entire summer court. You see Lumi trembling and petrified in a cold metal cage as your power is revoked and you are banished from the Feywild forever. Annulin.
No.
You see the enormous forges of Svarog, the fire giant capital. Gaunt slaves toil endlessly to keep the furnaces ablaze. Among them you see your mother, broken and malnourished, merely a shadow of her former self. Her eyes are dead, and she is far too weak to continue her forty duties. She tries to pass as useful, but a hobgoblin foreman notices her feebleness and pulls her out of the chain gang. He throws her into a pit of hellhounds, screaming. Her shrieks of pain echo through the halls as the beasts devour her alive. Finally, Avantris. You see Seamus, hunched over on a street corner, with a tin cup outstretched in his hand, a few copper pieces resting at the bottom. He shivers, the winter setting in harshly this year. Not much later, he dies. Don't laugh. Yeah, you messed me up. He dies, alone and destitute, with nothing more than a few tattered garments to his name. Forgus arranges a funeral, but few attend beyond Emiria, Tyche, and a handful of his old regulars. Out of the coffin, you see Seamus sit up and say that he wished Vandris had kept his word. All those in attendance respond in unison. Who? As your mind is racked with pain as you see these horrific visions, the shape beneath the water moves slowly in your direction as the images fade, but you're still racked and paralyzed. The shape beneath the water moves slowly in your direction in a lateral swimming pattern, and you see a huge fish-like fin emerge from the water, flanked by two tendrils, flicking above and below the surface. Then, 3 huge red eyes stacked vertically, open and gleam through the blackness of the water for just a moment, before the shape turns toward the back of the cavern and disappears out of sight into the depths of the pool. Immediately, the beam of energy turns back to its radiating blue light, the tether of energy arcing to the trident, and continues to the deluge of water. The cave once again illuminated. The creature is nowhere to be seen. And you start to feel it shaking off, and you hear Orpheus's voice. What did you do? You told me you could tear a rift into limbo with that stuff. This isn't limbo. I lied. You of all people should understand, Orpheus. You have your dream, but I have a dream of my own. Only now I've actually achieved it. You hear a loud explosion as you see a fireball erupt on the top of the temple. And you start to get control of your body. As flames are singeing her flesh, destroying her tattered robe, she shrieks in agony. The sheer force of the impact knocks the eyes of the abyss off of her head and sends it clattering to the ground. Orpheus strides and picks it up. You traitor. I never should have trusted a cleric, especially one that worships a goddess that calls herself the bitch queen.
I'm paralyzed, but I roll my eyes.
You can move your eyes.
Well, I don't need you. I'll wing it like always, and you have full control of your bodies at this point.
And so,
I'm drawing my cutlass.
So you're all there. They're at the top of it.
and the fish guy is going.
As far as we can
see. Yeah, at this point, I think we just start
Let's get the
booking
fuck up
it.
there.
Yeah, let's start booking it.
So you start sprinting towards it. You start sprinting into the cavern, and your loud footsteps clatter through the temple, and they start echoing, and you make a huge noise. You see Orpheus's head turn towards you.
I scream his name.
Oh, great. Good to see you too, Vanny Poo. Now the good do-gooders are miraculously here with Jolly Roger or something to put a stop to my nefarious plots. Joy. Can you return that dragon turtle? Not really much of a blockade, was it? Either way, your problem now, Diandra. He looks down at her shriveled body. Enjoy killing each other in this literal stinkhole. I'll be going back to my amazing volcano lair for Plan B. Always have a Plan B,
How
kiddos.
close are we?
Toodles. Probably about 100 feet at this point.
Take me with you if you go.
Toodles. And his energy.
So as he's talking, what's the possibility of me dimension dooring, grabbing Avantris, immediately up to where he is, and casting Counterspell the moment I land?
I would say that you could probably get to the foot.
Because he's like having a full fucking monologue here.
Yeah. I'd say you could probably get to the foot of. What's the range on Counterspell?
Counterspell is, I believe,
60,
90
right?
feet, but I'm gonna look again. 60 feet.
60 feet.
So I'd have to get 40 feet away.
40 feet away?
I mean, if we're 100 feet, I have to get 40 feet to be able to cast Counterspell on him.
Yeah. So I would say you'd be able to dimension door to the foot of the pyramid and then cast Counterspell in range.
Let her rip.
Okay, I'm gonna do it.
As you do that, you take Vandris with you. You're teleported to the foot of the pyramid. The crackling energy is swirling around in his hand, and he looks at you. And I have legendary resistance now. And as energy swirls around him, he blinks out of existence.
Not wasting the dimension door, I'm gonna immediately go for Diandra Tidehunter.
As you're sprinting up, her hand is is clutching the skull.
I'm also running, obviously.
Yeah, we're
how
all
fast I
running.
can get there, I'm on my way.
Her hand is clutching the skull as you're sprinting up, and she's horrifically burned. As he's been doing that, you hear kind of very, very faintly, "Umberly, my final sacrifice, my flesh, this doomed world. grant me your promised ascension. My rightful position as the avatar of the Wave Mother. Vanders, at this point, you're running up, and her body melts into water. As your rapier hits water, you feel it slush around. I want you to make just a quick attack for me.
11.
11? Okay, we'll just roll something real quick. Okay. You stab your black rapier into the, hold on. Actually. Sorry about this, guys. So you sprint up and her body melts as it gyrates and melts into the water. And then you stab your rapier into the pool, basically just barely missing her body as it melts, starting with her burns.
I turn to the gang and I scream, she's gone.
And as soon as you turn to the gang, water erupts out from all sides and crashes down onto the water, the pool left behind her, swirling together and rising in the air above you. You see a shape beginning to emerge from the swirling mass atop the pyramid. An enormous serpentine creature made entirely of water, with glowing turquoise eyes, roars with an aquatic timbre, but with the clear tone of Diandra's voice. Roll for initiative.
Son of a gun.
Holy 7.
You can place yourselves wherever you'd like, guys.
Where would we have gotten by then?
I say with Vanish running up and kind of seeing that you guys would have been able to get like around here. Just
Okay.
I would have led the charge, so.
I would have been slower than other people, so I'll be like,
Yeah, I'm on that second one.
Yeah, I'll be like.
Let me know if the music's too loud, guys.
It's perfect.
I think it's good.
And is this? Are these positions good?
It's up to you guys.
Yeah, that's good.
That's fine.
I don't think I would have gotten. Well, I was in range to make an attack, so I might be closer.
Would Van just be here since he's closer? Yeah, that's fine.
What are the circle things? Are they pillars?
Those are pillars rising up out of the water. They're about the level of this thing, of that tier.
So they're above our heads, right?
Yes, yes. So I'm going to need. Well, let me roll initiative here. Okay, 20 to 25. 15 to 20.
16.
18.
18 for Vandris. Okay.
16 for Sylvie.
16 for Sylvie.
Can you pass the drink packet?
16 for Sylvie. And then we have where's my 15 to
10, 15.
10, 15.
12.
10.
Okay. 12 is Mathias.
Andy's 10.
Andy's 10.
I'll get a 7.
I got an 8.
Oh, right, Andy. Do it.
Doing real well. Warming up. Let's warm it up in here, guys. Come on.
Yeah, let's get warmed up quick.
Okay. As this horrific snake water creature, Diandra's ascended avatar of the Wave Mother, you notice that as the water starts to settle down from forming her aquatic body, you see two copies of familiar creature, these same looking water elementals, that you saw with the tentacled faces rise up out of the water.
Here. And here.
Well, they look big.
Let's get a different angle going here.
Oh, okay. Initiative order. So, with that, as you see these horrific, this horrific water creature and these smaller water elementals, you start to hear splashes and see the water start to rustle as fish-like creatures leap out of the water with clutching, pronged, grasping spears. This is a similar species to the one that you had avoided combat with.
As they will move. Oh. And then, just FYI, when one of these dies, could you just pass them back to me?
Yep.
2.
I wonder what that means.
Okay, and they're all going to act immediately. We have 2 on Rodek going in with its spear.
Naturally.
And that's going to be... It's going to miss. And then he's going to go in with a bite attack. That is going to hit. That's going to deal 5 points of piercing damage. It sinks its flesh in you, its teeth in you. It's going to miss on its spear. The next bite is going to hit as well. That is going to be another 5 points of piercing damage. Okay, we got 2 on Ganji. They're going in with, we'll just do 2 spear attacks first. Both are misses, 2 bite attacks. Both are misses. We then have 1 on Mathias. We'll do a spear attack on Mathias. It's going to miss. A bite attack on Mathias. That is going to be a natural 20.
You love that so much.
I just nat 20 Mathias.
Better you than me, my friend.
7 points of piercing damage. As it bites into you, Annulin. We got a spear attack on you. That is going to hit. That is going to deal... What is the spear? Okay. 6 points of piercing damage as these vices clamp in on you, and you are now grappled. And it is going to go in and bite you.
Sure, why not?
It's going to bite you, and it misses. Okay, with that, it's Vanish's turn.
Hot dog. I'm going to stab the giant water monster sitting right in front of me.
Okay.
Stab it a lot.
I got a 15.
15. That's going to miss.
Son of a... Okay. And then I'm going to reposition to the back of the monster.
Okay.
Kind of like on the left. Keep going. Right there. Too far.
As
Here?
Yep.
After missing Diandra's body and it starts to swarm above you, you stab your rapier up, and it still seems to be kind of forming and slithering around, and it manages to dodge out of the way, and you zip around. Sylvie.
I'm going to transfer Hex to her because I've
Okay.
had that up since for a while.
Okay. Hex goes down onto her.
With Dex.
Dex. Okay.
And then I'm going to cast Fairy Fire
Okay.
somewhere on the temple, trying to hit both her and that other creature, but only those 2.
Okay. If that's far enough range.
It's a 20-foot...
So it is, remember, this is a pyramid coming out of the water.
So this is going to be 10 feet for each.
It's a 20-foot cube, so...
So then you want to... Would you be able to hit this if you angled it?
I don't know.
Math that out for me.
It's 10 foot up.
Worst case scenario, I just want to hit her.
I don't think
that you can because Pythagoras is a dick.
So I couldn't what?
Yeah, I don't think that
I
you'd
don't
be able
think
to
you
hit
can
both.
get it.
I think that
That's
you could.
okay, so I'll just do it on her, and
Okay.
so she has to make a dex saving.
Dex save. Okay, you got it. Let's see what
Is
my...
it a cube? Can you just do like a diamond shape where you're like the 2
Yeah,
corners?
like
stretch it
Symmetra, and
out.
I'm just like sitting here.
I rolled a 15.
15 is what it is.
Okay, so...
Is it 16?
Yeah, 15.
And that was that disadvantage?
Oh, it's disadvantaged. Sorry. That is going to be a 14.
Hey!
Is that fair?
Look at
Yeah.
that.
My spell save DC is 15.
Okay. So so because it's Hex, all dex saving throws on her.
So
Okay.
she's outlined in violet light, and she sheds dim light for 10-foot radius, Attack rolls against her are advantaged, and she cannot benefit from being invisible, and it's for 1 minute.
Okay. 1 minute. Okay, 6 rounds. Let me just count that down here. So as you...
10 rounds.
10 minutes, sorry. My math is great. Math and DM. As the mystical fae-like glittering violet light shimmers through, it almost turns this thrashing, sloshing blue creature into like a purple lava lamp, and that's glowing in this light. And it looks around a little bit concerned. Doesn't have any idea what's happening. Okay. With that, she's going to use a legendary action. Forgot about legendary actions. I should remember to do that. And you see a tendril of water slither down out of her body and consume, or not consume, but just go over the skull of Bakugul. And you see the color through the fairy fire, the color of the water beneath of the light starts to shift into this gross yellow-looking color. Then she's going to take her action, and you see the eyes start to glow as you hear this. It's like this horrific aquatic language, and storm clouds start to populate the entire cavern, and you hear probably the loudest echoing violent thunder of your entire life. I need everyone to make a con saving throw.
Is it magic?
Yes, this is a spell.
18.
Pass?
Or sorry, 17.
Still doesn't pass.
Oh shit.
5 fail.
13.
21.
Pass?
Fail.
22.
Anulin and Sylvie fail. The rest of
Pass.
I fail.
you...
I fail.
So Anulin and Sylvie pass, pardon me.
Oh, I was like, what?
Yes, Anulin and Sylvie pass. And you're able to cover your ears in time as this horrific thunder happens. The rest of you are deafened and take 8 points of thunder damage.
Oh, it was nice knowing you guys. This is...
Oh, what does deafened do?
You just can't hear.
Oh, okay.
Automatically
That makes
fails
sense.
any ability check that requires hearing. Good. I think
Okay.
in older editions.
I believe it's Mathias' turn.
Spellcaster.
I can't hear.
No, save the words.
shit.
Any spellcaster refer.
What?
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 It's funny.
Hey, then
I don't know how loud I'm being, but I'll yell.
Look what you did to yourself, Adelaide Blue! Look what you did, you traitorous bitch!
And I'll cast with my bonus action. I'll cast. I'll cast Compel Duel
Okay.
on the what used to be blue,
Okay.
but it's still kind of blue in the colory sense.
How does that work?
Also a little pink.
I will attempt to compel the creature into a duel, meaning it can only, basically, you have to make a wisdom saving throw, and on a failed save, you're drawn into a compelled duel with me by divine command for the duration, which is up to a minute. It has disadvantage on attack rolls against creatures other than me, and must make a wisdom saving throw each time it attempts to move to a space that is more than 30 feet away from me. If it succeeds, then it doesn't do anything.
Okay.
Question. I just read that entire card. Does that affect the way anyone else fights it if you've compelled it to duel you?
If I attack another creature, if you cast the spell ends if I attack any other creature. If you cast a spell that targets a hostile creature other than the target, if a creature friendly to you damages the target or casts a harmful spell on it, or if you end your turn more than 30 feet away from the target.
Okay.
So it'll end if we damage it.
Fantastic.
Oh, she resists it anyway.
Okay. That's fine. I will go. I don't know how far up I can get because these are stairs, but can I?
I would just say that.
Can I get to it?
Yeah.
Okay, then I'll make 2 attacks.
Is compel the duel a bonus action?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Then I'll make 2 attacks.
Okay. First, we need to get a cleaver to try to stop you from the guy from this bone. And that is going to fail. He's going to miss as he tries to grapple you away from his opportunity.
That's fine. I have a 21 to hit.
That hits.
Okay, and I'll just roll my second one. That's a 2. So that'll be 11 points of I'm sorry, not 11. Wow. 9. 9 points of slashing damage.
9 points. Your cursed cutlass slices into the watery form, and it seems to hiss at you as it retches back and it cuts through the flesh. However, the water splashes on you, and you realize that that her body has changed from water to some kind of acid, dealing. Hold on, sorry.
This is bad.
This is real bad.
Dealing 5 points of acid damage. Okay.
Is that the end of my turn?
Should be.
Yeah.
No, you don't get 2 attacks?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I failed.
You missed one and the other. Okay, Monsters 1, these are the water elementals. And they are going to swim.
Oh, don't forget that you are advantaged on all of your attacks against her.
Oh, shit. That would have hit this.
Okay. We'll allow it.
Sorry.
No, that's fine.
Thank you. That'll be an
You
additional
know,
6 points of slashing
Let me
damage.
see if I can put something over there.
Why don't we take a D? This is purple,
You
so
want to put a shot glass on her?
we can put a we can do purple D4. Purple
yeah,
represents
I'll
fairy
put
fire.
a 1 on her for luck.
There you go.
So, your other attack hits, doing how much?
And 6 additional
6
slashing
additional
damage.
slashing damage.
Thank you. That was very kind of you.
Okay. The fairy fire makes it much easier to hit. It's like, wow, I would have missed in this dark cavern, but there it is. Our best. And you slice in, but then you take a little bit more acid damage. Only 2 points. Okay. Monsters 1, they're going to swim up, and they are going to do their business to Ganji. They're going to do their 2 slams, and that is, we'll just real quick here. That's going to be 2 slams each, and that is going to be 2 Rodex. Horrifically fails. Ganji. Both are going to hit. And that is going to do... $14 points of bludgeoning damage as the water elementals smash into you. Ganji.
Okay. I am going to use my bonus action to cast Spirit Guardians.
Okay.
No. So, and then I'm definitely use that. What does Fairy Fire do anything for a deck for a save?
Use your lightning move.
What?
I don't.
No, it doesn't.
I don't think
you
it
just
does
get
saves.
advantage. But if
Okay.
it's a deck save, Hex does.
It's not.
Misaki comes just in time to watch us all die and confuses us with Pokemon.
Same Pokemon.
He's an electric dragon.
Well, you think it's not Pokemon, but
Oh, it is Pokemon.
No, I'm actually going to take a dodge action this turn.
Okay. You raise up your shield and you're ready to dodge. Daniel, you're up. You're grappled by the dude, by the way.
How do I get out of it again? I'm sorry.
You can use your action to make a strength check to try to pry it open, or you can just try to shoot him in the face and just kill him.
always a solid option.
Okay, but I have like free motion with my arms and stuff.
Yeah, you can fully attack. It just means that you can't move. I think so.
Okay. So staying grappled, I'm going to reach into my pocket and pull out one of my golden lions.
It's Pokemon time.
Oh shit.
I choose you, Golden Lion.
I
So
should.
I'm going to toss it on the ground and speak the word, "Kitty, do it right now."
Right now.
Wow.
I don't have a lion, but I have this horrific wasp.
You have the sea lion, don't you?
It's medium, right? The
Yeah.
medium.
Are they medium or large?
Yeah.
They're
So where are you
medium.
putting it, Annulin?
Hold on, I have the lion stat block in my binder for Druid stuff.
You're here. where my finger is.
So basically, like, kitty corner to me. The other, like, enemy dude.
So in that fork, yeah. Exactly. Right there?
Lion is large.
So, like,
Oh, it is? Oh, wow.
sort of sandwiched between me and the other guy who's not grappling me.
Okay, right in there.
He's gonna be a biggin, so just hold on a sec. Let me.
We're finding you a larger kitty.
Where the hell's my tokens? Oh, here it is. You for the time being is going to be. Sorry guys, I should have come prepared with lions and shit.
Oh, sea lions. Yeah, sea lions, and there are 2 of them, right?
Yeah.
Or you
She's only using one.
Using one.
Right
You grab the figurine that that Dobro gave you, and you speak the command word, and a huge lion erupts out of the tiny statue form as soon as it hits the ground, roaring. It's almost like this light ashen color, almost like a white lion, and it is roaring and ready to attack for you. How does the when does it move? Your turn?
I believe it kind of.
We'll say you guys share an initiative.
Share an initiative.
Yeah.
Unless you want me to roll one.
No,
but
you should just share an initiative.
With me.
Okay.
Okay, so it is going to make a bite attack on the one that is grappling me.
Okay.
And because of pack tactics, I'm an ally within 5 feet, so it gets advantage on its attack roll.
Okay.
Yeah, it does.
That was terrible. Let's see.
Wait, is that blind?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's the
That was
sea
terrible.
lion.
That was only 11.
Okay.
That hits.
Oh, wow, okay.
They're made out of sponges.
That is 1d8 plus 3 damage. That would be 4 damage.
4 damage. Ooh. The lion erupts into an existence, and through some psychic link, you feel like you have a connection to this lion, your power of nature, and you command it. It immediately tears the head off of the fish monster, rips it off, chucks it, and the fish slides back into the water and sinks down.
Yeah.
Can you save that?
Whoa.
This one, number 2?
Yeah.
That was one grappling.
Alright.
Nice job, Kitty.
How do you like them grapples?
Does that have multi-attack, or is that the only attack it can do?
I actually don't.
It's single
I don't
attack.
know.
Single
I don't
attack?
It's
see
single
anywhere
attack.
that says it has a
Okay.
multi-attack.
And was that a
Because
full action to throw
A
your
bear,
item down?
it says multi-attack. Yeah.
It does have multi-attack?
No, it does not.
So do you have a was that a bonus action or was that a full action?
To
Summon it.
Summon it. It is a full action.
Okay, cool.
But I will use my movement to back up sort of where Sylvie is on the other side of that platform from her.
Like there?
Okay.
I lied. One step closer, so I'm touching my guy.
Oh, there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Perfect.
Rodick, you're up.
So I guess I'm still deaf, right?
Yep.
So I'll just scream probably louder than I intend to. I'll get these little fishy shites. You get the big one, and then I turn and I will attack one
We
of
don't
the.
hear you.
I don't know that.
I hear
The ladies here. The ladies here.
Power attack. So 9, 10, 11, 12.
12 to hit on the fishy. Yep.
8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 23 damage.
Hack his head off.
Okay, I'll attack the next one. Power attack.
Okay.
Higher, so it hits.
Okay.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 21 damage.
Hits. Cleaves him in the chest.
Okay.
Kills him.
I'm gonna jump over. Can I
Take an opportunity attack from him though.
Oh,
From
this
the big
guy?
guy, yeah.
That's
What?
fine.
I mean, I'm probably gonna kill this guy with spirit.
Oh, right.
I mean,
Yeah,
up to
I'll
you, though.
stay there. I'll
Okay.
stay there. I'm gonna use a bonus action to just attack that guy. Why not?
Okay.
That's 17 plus 8 is 25.
25 hits.
11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 damage. Because I didn't make it a power attack.
16 damage. Okay, your axe hacks into it, and you realize that you saw Avantris and Mathias hacking apart the water elemental pretty effortlessly. Once again, you're kind of used to this theme. Your axe does not seem to do as much. It does do a bit of damage, but doesn't singe it with that magical aura. And that was number 1.
That's number 1.
To 16 damage, you said?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Is that it?
Yeah.
The fighter.
Okay.
Unless I can move in this square
I think you can move there.
without
I think you can
being
straddle
in
it.
basically like kind of looking at both of them.
Yeah, you can
on
straddle
the
that.
edge.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's fine.
I just want to engage both
I gotcha.
for reasons.
For nose goes.
So, later action turn. So, the water once again starts to tremble and shake and thrash about as tendrils from almost like the pool itself is attacking you, wrap themselves around Sylvie, Annulin, Ganji, and Rodak. Yeah. And everyone make a strength saving throw.
Oh boy.
7.
21.
Hell yeah.
Natural 20, bingo Greek! 21.
That's an 18.
No, I lied. 20.
18 for me.
11.
I am so strong.
11. Both of you, the tendrils wrap around you and pull you into the water. You still have water walking, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I
you
forgot
still have
about
water
that.
walking, so it
concentration
pulls
right
you, tries to get you into the water. You are both not prone, but you are not pulled into the water.
So we're on the water.
You are on the
Where
water.
are we?
So here, me.
Oh no, Mathias couldn't.
Yeah, I
why
was
did you?
gonna say.
Why did you roll? So only Rodak. Ah!
Oh, I see.
You're pulling.
And I hate the water.
I finally know.
I don't know. Yeah, don't be rolling, but I don't tell you to roll. Vandus, you're up.
I thought you said
So,
everyone.
not being able to hear and be
Is that
totally
big bad too?
disoriented, I stick my finger on my ear and give it a
Later action.
ma,
Later action.
ma, ma. And then I
Does it
decide
help?
to attack the water monster with advantage.
Okay.
Fishies are big
I got a
bad,
27.
and then the big
That hits.
big ones are monstrous one. Fishies, I guess, big bad 2, or maybe yeah. I don't know.
Layer action's big bad 2. Diandra is big bad. Water elementals are monsters 1.
So when the little ones go?
Little fishies.
Oh, they do go. Sorry. Thanks for reminding me.
Yeah, no, we're just.
You
trying
forgot
figure
to
out.
assign homework.
No. I forgot to tell you to roll
Oh.
whiz saves for all of them for Spirit Guardians.
Oh, okay.
He might all just
So
die.
do they go in the
hopefully.
lair action then? I just
Sorry,
for the
yeah,
purpose
they
of
go. They go
knowing?
on layer action. Sorry
Okay.
about that.
Okay.
Just so I
Gotcha.
understand the little cards.
Yep, my bad.
So
20.
DC 15 whiz save for all of them.
1 dies horribly. 2 dies, or 6 dies horribly. They all die horribly.
Oh
Yeah, it's like 14 damage.
Yeah,
if
they all die horribly. Sorry.
Okay.
Horribly.
See, I wasn't just reminding about homework. I want to get my kill count up.
As Rodak is dragged off screaming into the water, the radiant angelic draconic form above you blasts them. Their skin falls off. You can tell they haven't really seen the sun probably in their entire lives. And so they all die horribly. And with that is Vandus' turn. Sorry, you already hit.
Yeah,
Roll
I was
damage.
rolling for damage. I got, sorry, I had the number, now I got, let me just 12, 15, 16, 18, 19, 20, 21. 27 points of damage.
27 points of damage.
Yeah.
Okay. 27. Jesus. And 27. What's half of
13.
13?
Ganji with that quick math.
That's a con save. Okay. Your rapier slices in its magical blade, easily piercing into this watery form. It lets out a roar, but acid does splash back out onto you, dealing 1 point of acid damage. God damn it.
Okay, now just for
Make
Okay.
sure
But it's half rounded down, so could I take no damage?
you made sure to roll at advantage, right?
I did.
Good.
It's probably not.
I'm just gonna take
I don't know how that works, but I doubt it.
What were the two?
Okay.
I don't remember.
Shelby.
Sylvie, you're up.
So, because I'm trying to keep the rounds. So, is it at the start of my turn that one round ends for fairy fire? So I can mark it down to 9.
Yes.
Okay. I am just going to. I'm actually going to turn towards Rodak. Just kind of shift my body towards Rodak, seeing him fly off. And knowing he can't hear me, I'm going to dance as well to provide him as a bonus action with Bardic Inspiration. But I'm going to sing, "They built this temple on dragon bones." And I'm going to give him a Bardic Inspiration.
I have to know how far in advance that you
thought of that one like last round.
Nice.
And so I will use that. In the hopes
I just
that...
see your mouth flapping.
and
I
interpretive
do know you.
dancing. And then I'm gonna cast Eldritch Blast.
Okay.
And they will both probably. Well, one would be a 16, and the other one would be a 9.
Both miss.
At Diandra.
Doesn't
You
change.
have
Advantage?
Yeah. So the first one misses then, and then the other one would be a 17.
Misses.
Damn.
Yeah.
Both Eldritch Blasts crash off into the sides of the cavern. And now it's her turn. She's going to look at Avantris and Mathias and smash down on them.
She's not going to explain herself. I'm screaming at her.
Will you
That's
be
right.
able to hear her response?
I won't be able to hear it. I just...
You killed me!
You see her eyes turn, and they look directly at you. And you could tell she's probably going to attack Avantris, and now she's looking directly at you. And the eyes narrow, and you see the mouth moving, and all of you hear this horrific watery language that he maybe don't understand, but you can't hear anything. And it looks like this horrible water monster is talking to you. And so, and then she's going to make 2 attacks on you. What's your AC?
15.
Okay. A tendril comes down and smashes into you, dealing 13 points of bludgeoning damage, and you are sucked into her body. The acid eats. Oh wait, no. The acid goes out of her body. It's off. And so. No, it's the end of her next turn, so it does do damage to you. And that'll be 5 points of acid damage. And you're grappled, and
So Mathias is in her.
I'm deafened, grappled,
and
and
drowning.
drowning,
in acid.
and jolly.
And jolly.
Status condition.
After sucking in Vandris, she turns, or not Vandris, Mathias, she turns to Vandris and makes a smash at him.
Tries to.
It's going to be a natural 20.
Ooh.
Son of a bitch. I'm gonna uncannily dodge. Extra uncannily.
Because we can.
Okay. Oh wow, I rolled like shit.
God.
4, 5,
Only 48
13,
damage.
Man is dead.
18 points of bludgeoning damage.
Alright, so wait, that's after or before the half? Please tell me it's after.
Before the half.
Before the half.
Before the half.
Alright, take it 9.
9. So you take 9, and then you are also sucked into Diandra's form. So both of you are inside.
Unbelievable.
And you take 9 points of acid damage.
Jesus.
I'm probably gonna use it too, because I want to.
And then I need to figure out how that works.
I get to make it
Okay.
like whatever I
You're grappled
Oh yeah.
and drowning.
I totally know exactly what it's going to be.
Oh,
That was cool.
and you notice at the end of her turn, the storm clouds start to get darker and more violent, and it starts to get worse. And let's see what this does. Rain is falling down, and then you notice that it starts to singe your flesh as acid rain falls down. Everyone takes.
Not the
No,
people
that's
in.
right.
Yeah, we're cool.
You guys don't. The people that are outside take 3 points of acid damage.
3 points?
3
Yep.
points.
Yep. And you get the sense that there's a little kind of half channeling concentration going on with the storm above you. I'll throw you that phone. And Mathias, you're up.
I'm screaming profanity after profanity. Just you killed me, you rusty bitch. You know, all this kind of stuff. And I guess I can't make attacks inside of her.
You can.
I can make attacks inside of her.
You're just if you get the sense that if like she activates the acid.
Yeah, acid activation is a worry.
You could also
Oh, first of all, I gain a hit point because of my constitution being just so
Good.
dandy. I'm feeling really good. My apologies. I didn't expect to be inside of a creature at this turn. Fuck.
She's got a lot of body. She can fit a couple of you guys in there.
Yeah. Yeah, she's gonna drown me again. That sucks.
She motions, and you all hear a and you get the sense that she'd probably be taunting you.
Yeah, fuck her.
I mean, you are inside of her.
For the first time.
Mathias.
Yep, you're right. I
Costs
will.
200
Fuck. I'm going to use my bonus action to Misty Step,
Okay.
which I will assume can transport me out 30 feet.
Yeah.
Don't leave me!
Fine. I can't take you with me. It's not
Remember
dimension door.
Pythagoras. Remember Pythagoras.
So
It's like
we're
10
how
feet
far do you
down
think I can get?
each tier.
So
10 feet down.
He teleports himself 15
10,
feet
20,
straight
30.
out and then just drops.
Yeah,
the
oh
rest
yeah, and
of
then
the
you
way.
drop down. Yeah.
So I'll just
Your body turns into a ghostly fog, and it rolls out of Diandra, leaving Avantris alone. You shift back in and land. Make an acrobatics acrobatics check.
I just appeared on the ground. If that's 30 feet, I didn't go straight out.
Well, straight out, it's 10 feet each tier,
Yeah.
and so
I thought you were saying that it was going to be 30 feet on the diagonal.
No,
that's
it's
not
not,
the case.
no, it's not.
Okay, so if
So
I
it's
just
5, then
I
10
just
down.
be
That's
here.
fine.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll just be there.
Okay.
That's fine. And for my action, I will cure wounds, first level, and I'm spitting up blood and all that. That's the end of my turn.
You touch your chest and you feel
Movement.
you feel the that dark energy surge through your body as the ghastly form of your crew, wherever they may be, heals your wounds a little bit. Okay, monsters 1, which are the whatever, they are going to go to Rodek. And he's just going to stay on Ganji, I think. And dang, no grapples. Okay. So I'm advantaged, right? Okay, a critical fail and a 4. Okay, that's the first bludgeoning on Rodek, and that is going to hit. So that is going to do. Oh, actually, yeah, that's fine. I already said I did it. Sorry. Dang it, that would have been fun.
Woo! Woo!
12 points of bludgeoning damage.
Is it a natural weapon, would you say?
So yeah, it's a natural weapon. It's like a magic spell on you. And it's at this point you start to notice that the water level is rising. And it looks like it could consume this lower layer down here shortly.
Thank God you guys have water walking.
It was nice knowing you guys.
Okay. Ganji. Sorry, 2 hits on Ganji. Not advantaged.
Disadvantage.
Ah.
I'm dodging.
Fail. 91. Okay. You're dodging. You're raising up your shield. You're fighting off this water
Are they
elemental,
in Spirit Guardians?
tanking it.
They are. Oh, yeah, they are. So
You gotta remind me. Sorry.
sorry, no, I forgot. So they both need to do a Wiz saving throw.
Are they slow? Can you go?
8 and 10.
Probably. He wasn't very far. So they both fail.
8 and 10.
So they'll take full damage. Of
13.
13 radiant
Anything?
damage
Oh.
To both.
to both.
Nice.
Wow. Once again the draconic angelic figure blasts them with radiant light. 13. Cool. Don't know how to do maths. Okay. And that's their turn. Then I believe it is Ganji's turn.
Okay.
Let's change it.
So I would shout out how people are doing, except I can't hear any response they have. Who can I see either of these guys?
You can see Avantris floating around. He's glowing. He's in the fairy fire glowing.
Glowing very
Yeah.
angrily.
Mathias you would be able to see.
How big is this area, would you say?
This whole area?
Yeah, more than 300 feet long.
Say it's probably about 300 feet. We'll say 360. Depends on what you want to do.
He withholds his answer until he finds out why. You're right.
Because I still have another cast of control water, and I can use it to get rid of all of the water. If it's 300 feet wide, I can use part water and just get rid of all the water.
All the water
in the entire room, within a 300-foot cube of me.
300-foot cube. Let's map it out. We'll just hold my.
I'm not saying I'm doing that. I just want to see, like, math-wise, how that looks. Just out of curiosity.
Well, this is already 50. So, I mean, yeah, it's like...
Yeah, no, you could probably get the entire cavern if that's how it works.
Okay.
Keep in mind, water is gushing from this seeming portal to the water plane.
Oh, I did not realize that. Okay. No, but I'm not going to do that because it does require me. It would require me to drop Spirit Guardians, and I don't really want to do that yet. Instead, what I'm going to do.
It's a good option.
It's a good option. It's a thing to bear in mind. I have other plans. Plans within plans.
Hey, it's a good plan.
But no, instead I am going to use my action to cast Dispel Magic on the Thundercloud.
Okay. How does that work?
Any spell of 3rd level or lower ends for each spell of 4th level or higher. Make an ability check using your spellcasting ability. The DC is 10 plus the spell's level.
Okay. Wait, so I don't need to make a saving throw on Diandra?
No,
so
it's not on Diandra. I'm casting it on the Thundercloud.
Okay.
I can cast it on a magical effect within range.
Okay, let's see how well you roll, fam.
Okay. 19 plus 4 is 21, so that spell ends because there's no such thing as an 11th level spell.
23.
Well, according to my fan fiction, it is a homebrew rule in Avantris that this horrific, maddening storm that continues to brew and storm, despite it being a 9th level spell.
What?
Genji prays to Bahamut, and with a loud crackling of thunder and a bolt of lightning that shoots out in the middle, but it's not like a normal bolt, it's like this radiant platinum holy thunder, like fucking Thor, the storm disperses. And
a 9th level spell. Holy cow. Good roll.
Wow.
Great roll. Great roll.
Wow.
Okay. Unbelievable.
So yeah, that's my
that whole
turn.
mechanic.
That's my turn.
That's the end. That's the end of your turn. So I am going to use a legendary action. She is going to. You feel the water clenching in on you, Avantris, and it is going to crush you, taking. You.
When I'm inside her, she's gonna punch herself in the stomach.
The water inside her stomach is.
She's flexing her abs.
She's flexing her abs, and she's a big snake. She's like constricting you. Come on.
She's having contractions.
12 points of bludgeoning damage.
Fantastic. I'm assuming I can't dodge, right? No, I guess I'm inside. I can't like dodge.
You could dodge. I would say you'd be able to worm around.
As long as have you used your reaction since you've gone?
Yes. You got crit, right? Or no? No, you haven't. You're right.
I did.
You did.
13 points?
13 points.
Okay.
Annulin, you're up.
Okay. I am going. I am so torn. I want to help Vandris, but I also feel like if I shoot her, then I'm going to kill him with acid.
Her body. Oh, by the way, her body goes back to normal water. So at the end of her, at the beginning of the turn after she had used it, I'll just say it's a legendary action, so I can use 3 actions to basically turn her body to acid, and then it's for 1 round. Okay.
Okay, I am going to, in that case, I'm just going to attack, I think it's number 2, the big guy.
Yeah, number 2.
Yeah, and, I'm sorry, is he damaged?
Both of them are damaged. Number 1 is more damage than number 2.
Okay. I'm going to make 2 arrow attacks on number 2.
Okay.
That is a 12 and a 25.
12 and a 25. The 12 misses. The 25 hits.
It's 17 damage.
17 damage to number, which one? 2?
To number 2.
You shoot an arrow and just like Rodek, it sinks in. It does a little bit of damage, but not as much as you want. It's 17.
Okay, and then for my lion's attack,
You can shoot twice, remember, right?
I did that was my 2
Okay.
attacks. The second one missed.
Okay.
My lion is going to run towards number 1, which is attacking Rodek, and
Okay.
it's going to make a pounce attack.
Okay. It sprints, leaping over the broken cracks in the water.
We can do better than that, guys. Come on.
Sound effects.
So at the end of his pounce, he makes a he makes a claw attack.
Okay.
Get that shit, girl.
That is 13.
13, I believe, misses.
Crikey.
That's the line's name is Craig.
It
That's
leaps
canon
in
now.
the water and slices at it, but it slips a little bit on the slick stone and barely misses.
Okay.
Okay,
That's
cool.
the end of my turn.
That's your turn. We then have Rodek's turn.
Poor crikey.
I would like to stand up,
Okay.
and I want to stumble over on. I guess that's half my movement, though. Which is 2.5, 3, 4.5.
Jump on the lion's back.
Oh, fine. I can
What are
get
you
here.
doing?
I can see you get there, yeah.
Okay.
It's difficult terrain. Going through that.
Going through the water.
It's a big water elemental and a big old lion. I feel like it's a difficult
yeah,
terrain.
yeah, then I probably can't get there. Then I'll say, I guess I'll go here.
And if Ganji gets knocked unconscious, not like I'm saying anything, then everyone loses water walking. Right?
Yes.
It's not concentration.
No, it goes
But if
unconscious.
you're unconscious, though, you can't.
Oh, no. Oh, that's
not
the
Yeah, I
hour.
guess you're
Yeah.
right.
Oh,
yeah.
it just,
not
oh, it just lasts.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It just
okay.
lasts
It's
an
already
hour.
on us,
Okay.
so yeah, I forgot about that.
Huh. Why not?
All right. I think I'm gonna stand right there,
Yeah, no concentration.
and I'm going to attack the water elemental with a natty 20.
Natty 20.
I will make it a. What do I want to do? What do I want to do? Do these guys look like they could go prone? Trip
No.
a water elemental?
They can't go run.
No. I'm gonna make a menacing attack then.
Okay.
Okay, so let's roll some damages. Let's roll some damages. Let's roll. Will saving throw, please. Lucaster. 14.
7.
It fails.
It fails. So he is feared of me until the beginning of my next turn.
He's feared of you.
He's feared of you.
He's mightily afeared.
27?
He's so
And then
feared.
plus 5, so 27, 28, 29, 30, 32 damage.
Damage in half.
30. Well, I don't know.
Yeah, it's, 18, or 16 damage. Fucker. I will attack again. Ooh, that's nifty.
Despite using all of your strength that you're getting up and being dragged into the water, it's not getting as much as you'd like.
It's gonna be a 12 to hit.
12 to hit, that misses.
I'm gonna use my bonus action to second wind.
Okay. You channel your
And I'm
dwarven
done.
fortitude and you heal yourself a little bit. Okay, layer action. You guys know what's coming. You hear gibbering, horrible gibbering guys, and they all leap out of the water and start like wrecking y'all fools. Yeah, it's basically.
We don't hear anything.
Okay, you don't hear anything. Well, the ladies do.
All right.
So I'm gonna go over here. Boink. 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 I'm gonna put one here. Boink.
Okay, so these 4 need to make wisdom saving throws.
Oh shit!
They didn't know. They behaved in character.
They behaved in character. Do I get anything to ways? Oh, I do, baby. 10.
Fail.
Okay. 4 is dead.
Instantly cooked alive. Stabbed.
It's 10 radiant damage to each one that fails.
And if they pass, they survive?
If they pass, it's 5 damage.
Okay. We're just going to speed roll this. What's the DC?
15.
2 survives, 1 dies.
Which one?
Oh, one is dead.
One is dead.
Oh, and then
I removed the other one.
There's 5.
Does number 3 roll it?
Only
He's too far away, as is number 6.
Okay.
But 2 and 5. Did 5 roll?
Yes, he passed. 2 passed. Yeah,
Okay.
everyone else died, right?
Yep.
They immediately come out of the water and just fall back down and die. And then we're gonna get a double attack on Shelby. Oh, great. Oh man, good roll. I bet I could still hit you because it's Sylvie.
15.
Damn it. I got a 13 on the spear. And even worse on the bite. Okay.
Yay!
It just horrifically misses you. Annulin's going to get a nice spear attack, and he's going to miss. And it's even worse. Okay, you're not going to be using any more. This little dice. And we got, great, Ganji. Nope. Nope. Okay, Rodak. Rodak, you're up.
He knocks me into the water. And
What's your AC, Rodak?
18.
Yes. So the pincer manages to wrap itself around you. And that does a lot of damage, let me tell you. That does 3 points of piercing damage, and you're grappled, and then he's going to bite you. And he's going to miss. Okay, that's everybody, right? Layer action. Okay, Vandris, you're up.
I'm going to. Okay, so I actually have a question. So I'm grappled, correct?
Yeah.
Do I have disadvantage on my attack rolls?
I would say no.
Okay, because then I didn't know if having advantage from the fairy fire and disadvantage from the grapple cancels each other out or not.
It would, but
so you'd still
you're
just have
advantage.
Yeah. Okay, I will be swinging my rapier wildly because I'm still blubbering angrily.
And make sure you always roll 2 dice just in case you could crit.
I got a 19 plus 9 is 28.
Hits. Roll damage.
This is one thing I used to not do. I'd roll my 1 die and be like, oh, it hit. I don't need to worry about it. But it's the other one could be 20.
Yeah.
So just always do it.
It's smart.
20 points of damage.
20 points of damage.
That's thanks to Mayo.
You flail your rapier around, and despite being grappled and drowning, the magical blade is slicing up her insides, and she lets out this roar as you're like, I don't know, what's a guy who goes into a monster? Hercules from the great film Hercules starring James Woods.
When does drowning become a problem?
Like 10 minutes, I think?
No, you 10 minutes or something nuts.
It's ridiculous.
You don't for 10 minutes?
Or no, 10 rounds.
It's
10 rounds.
your
It's
con
stupid.
mod.
It's 10 rounds plus your con mod or something ridiculous.
No, it's like 3 minutes plus your con mod.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
It's like forever.
Okay, forever.
You slice through doing 20 damage.
How do you get out of that?
You can make an attempt to escape, but after being sliced around, she lets out a roar, and you feel yourself, Vandris, get pulled by a tendril, and almost like a snake in a slingshot, flings you and smashes you against the cavern wall. And let's see.
I think just the most immediate path would be there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll just say
Misaki's got us. 1 minute of breath holding per con bonus.
Oh, gotcha.
Oh, yeah.
So if your con mod's 2, it's 2 minutes, so
Okay.
a gazillion rounds.
So you take. Hold on.
Yeah, at the end of it, this will only take like 30 seconds, this whole battle.
So how many feet did you move? 1, 2, 3,
Shitload.
4, 5.
That's a lot of dice. That's not good.
As you're flung at, I might roll poorly, at the cavern wall,
He says as he rolls max.
you 20 points of bludgeoning damage. And
My lifeless body bounces off the wall and I land unconscious on the ground.
you land unconscious on the ground, and the fall is so heavy you automatically fail 1 death save.
Can you dodge it?
Oh.
You already dodged, I think.
No.
He didn't uncanny dodge this
No.
round.
You just went.
You just went. You
Yeah,
can't
you can dodge.
Oh, yeah.
It's not gonna matter. It's way more than. I only have 8 hit points.
Oh, shit.
So I have -1 fail. Hooray.
Yep. as your body hits the ground, you still have water walking. It acts as if you're hitting ground hard, and you smack your head. And then that's Sylvie's turn.
Well,
Ray, brain damage.
Shelby
not
is
good.
going
Yeah, the
to use a bonus action to release spiritual weapon from her ring.
Okay.
And having seen a flail in her lifetime, and imagining what a sylvan flail or a fae flail would look like, she casts this really ornate fae flail, twined with vines and flowers. It's very beautiful. And on the end, instead of what you'd normally see as a dagger, is a almost iridescent salmon.
Yes.
A magical salmon flail. Okay.
She's going to cast that on top of her.
Do we want to use Lumi as their magic weapon here?
let's do it.
Sure.
Where? Over here?
Yeah, on top of her.
Right on top.
Okay.
Can it be like on her space?
Oh, wait,
Yeah, you can
this
put-
is
Because it can like fly, right? And
What?
do the thing.
Yeah, you can
Yeah.
cast it in
So
space.
it's like
Change
flying.
the spell in the spell range.
Yeah, you put it in the ring for me.
Okay, I
You
understand.
And so-
channel the spell out of the ring, but
And
you're
so
able
I get to
shape
make it how I want it. And so how does that work?
So you make a melee spell attack against the target. On a hit, target takes force damage equal to 1d8 plus your spell mod.
Okay, cool. So, and that's a bonus. Is it a bonus action
It's
to
a bonus.
summon it, and
Yep.
I can hit at the same time?
Yep.
Okay, so for my bonus action, I'm going to try and hit with that. And it's 8 plus what? It's going to fail because she's really powerful.
Yeah, it's whatever your
So it'd be 8 plus 8.
yeah.
Okay,
8
so
plus
16.
5,
Oh,
16.
four?
She's disadvantaged, isn't she?
Oh, yeah. 18 plus, what would it
8 is.
be? Would it be 8 my spell cast?
4, 5, 6, 7.
Hits.
Okay. And
20
so
something,
it's a
right?
D8.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Because
then
you
it's a
don't have your
D8
wand.
plus what?
Plus,
I do have my
Oh.
wand. Why wouldn't I
plus
have
your
my wand?
spell mod, which is 5 probably.
I think it's 4.
Would your wand improve the damage of your spiritual weapon? Is the question.
It improves
Oh.
all of my spell. I cast it as me. He just
Okay.
put it in my ring.
Okay, yeah.
So anyway, so it's
So yeah, plus 8.
so it's I roll a D8 plus what?
D8 plus spell mod.
So
four.
plus 4. So 9 damage from the spiritual weapon.
Okay. On Diandra?
Yes. And then I'm going
And it's force damage.
Okay, well.
and then I'm going to cast both of my Eldritch Blasts on her. So the first one is going to be an 18.
Hits.
And then the second one is going to be a 17 plus 8.
Hits. Both hit.
Oh, did you put hex damage on it too?
No, I didn't. So then an additional damage for Hex.
Okay.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Oh right, Hex works.
Yeah.
And then so it's going
The
to
old
be
Cremmy
7,
maneuver.
so 11,
Classic.
14, 18, 25 damage
Okay.
additional on top of that. Thanks!
You blast this ridiculous salmon whipping flail that starts flailing around and dashes a little bit. Despite it almost looks like it's leaping in like a river, and it actually hurts her. It like leaps into the water and then swims out with the flail. And
Incredible.
both of your glitter lances smash into it, and she lets a doing a good amount of damage that turn. Out of legendary actions, my turn.
Let me mark off another.
You can see as wait, what? Hold on. Never mind. And so you see the water start to rise more and more and more, and it starts to sink, or it starts to come above the brown stone that you're standing on and rise and rise and rise. Because you have water walking, you all rise with it, along with all the creatures chasing after you, except for the lion. Crikey splashes into the drink and is splashing around, thrashing. He's
It's a
What
wet
he's
cat.
gonna
It's a
want
wet
to
cat.
do.
it's a wet cat. And does anyone have a marker?
Yeah, we have this
I got
red
one
one
right
right
here.
here.
Okay, so
Dry erase, oh no, you can only do wet erase on this, right? Or no?
well, it's too late. We moved it
It's, as long as you clean it off with the thing, it's fine.
Okay.
So, all of this, all of this, all of this,
Yeah.
all of this, and this entire first tier is all water now.
SW equals
as you see that. Is that everything? Yeah. And so now you start to see that the water has risen to these little outcroppings here, and it's at about that level. And she lets out a roar and is going to, after getting blasted horrifically, she is going to water jet, shoot a massive jet of water at Sylvie. $29 to hit.
That'll hit. But only by like 1 or 2.
Dealing 20 points of bludgeoning damage as water blasts you. Make a strength saving throw.
Okay. Uh, 13.
You are knocked prone as the force of the water is so tremendous. You are knocked down. The second water blast is going to be right at Annulin. That's also going to hit, dealing 22 points of bludgeoning damage.
Ooh.
And make a strength saving throw.
$17.
17? It looks like you're going to get knocked over, but you manage to resist it, and you are not prone. Okay.
Knocked prone or not?
Knocked. You are not prone. You are not prone. Sylvie is knocked prone.
Still
You
standing
are not
would be
prone.
another way to say
You
that.
are still standing.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah,
Thanks.
I don't know. Why not?
Thanks. And I think that's her turn. Yeah. Cool. Okay. What else we got? Mathias, you're up.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I guess I'll walk over to Avantris, muttering something about a watery fuck. And I'll pour, I'll give you some cure wounds. How does that feel? Does that feel good?
That would probably feel great.
All right.
Non-responsive.
Cure wounds for you, sir. I guess I roll it? Yeah, I
Yeah.
roll it. And that'll be, oh man, that sucks. You get 6 points of HP.
Hooray! What happens to my death saving throw? Do they reset?
It's gone.
Yeah, it resets.
It resets.
The ghastly spirits enter your body, and as you lay dying from your crushed skull, you come back to consciousness as your wounds close up a little bit, only a little bit. Is that it for you?
No, that's not it. For my bonus action, I'll chest tap myself for an additional soul sacrifice.
Is lay on hands
yeah.
bonus?
Yeah.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah.
Huh.
Pretty sure. Let me just double check that. If it's not, then I've done a terrible order of operations for myself. It's an action. All right, that's fine.
I think it's a bonus action for Clerics of the Grave.
They don't have one hand.
It's a joke.
Oh.
'Cause they have the other thing.
If only I had something to rapidly quaff, I yell out, and
You should.
I don't have anything. They didn't split any fucking health potions over here.
Yeah, he was.
He wasn't
new
with
guy.
Didn't
us.
I give you 2 health potions? Didn't I give you 2 greater healing potions?
When?
When we made the character. You have 2 greater healing potions.
I did not write that shit down. I've been saving them for now. I will quaff that. Yeah. What is that? What is that? It's 44 plus 8.
What?
44 plus 8.
Yeah, or plus 4.
I can
44
tell
plus
you
4. Right?
Okay, that's fine. I'll do that.
44.
4d4.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, that makes more sense.
12 plus 4. All right, 16. I'll just do the 16 then. That's fine. I didn't know. Okay, that's the end of my turn.
Okay.
Whatever.
You get Vanners back up and you chug one of your 2 health potions.
Cool.
Monsters 1. Okay, that will be as the cat is thrashing around.
Both make wisdom saving throws.
That's right. Do I get any plus 2 wisdom on these guys? No. 11.
Fail.
10.
Both fail.
They're just gonna get killed by just
13 radiant.
13 radiant to each of them, huh?
And their movement speed is down to half, by the way.
Okay.
That spiritual weapon is the real
It
Viking.
is blasting.
Spirit Guardians is.
You see the water kind of steaming and boiling as their form is shrinking a little bit. 13 points, you said?
Yep.
They are getting blasted, and now they are. Rodek is back up, so he's just going to make 2 slam attacks. Well, maybe I'll do it against Ganji. He's going to make 2 attacks. Just 2 slams. Your AC is what?
21.
1 slam misses, but 1 does manage to hit.
Okay.
And that is going to be... 18 points of bludgeoning damage.
Ooh, okay. And
It
I
smashes into you.
I failed my concentration.
The angelic form has just been destroying everything, vanishes into thin air.
Sorry, how much damage?
18.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. With that, Rodek, I'm now making 2 attacks against you. Okay. Natty 20.
Oh.
Let me roll this.
Can I see my 10 there? Dirt.
Nah.
15.
So, I'm in my own head.
26 points of bludgeoning damage.
What's that?
26 points of bludgeoning damage.
Okay, -3. Not
And
bad.
the other one comes around and is going to hit you.
26, you said?
26,
So
and this one's
23.
going to deal 9 points of bludgeoning damage.
So hold on. So total 23 plus 6
29.
is
Plus 9.
But is my,
Oh.
so there's my 3. So
Oh,
what did you say it was?
29.
29.
29 points of bludgeoning damage as this
52.
water elemental is wailing away on you.
52, 42.
And that's their turn.
Okay. My turn?
Yep.
Okay, so I believe I can, with my lightning breath, hit this guy, and this guy.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do that. So they all make dex save.
Wait, what's the range on
30 feet. She's
You wouldn't
at the edge, so
you
I
wouldn't,
guess...
you wouldn't be able, because she's way up.
Well, I figured if we were floating up, but it might not be in the
Oh,
sky.
that's a good point. 30 feet. Let me see. Probably not, though.
I don't know if my height plus the floating lets me hit her foot, but
6.
I'll let you make.
I'd say probably not. I'd say that
takes a
she'd be
quarter
just out of
damage.
range. She'd be just out of range.
You
You can move.
Yeah, I'm just trying to be able to hit all of them. I don't know if I can hit this guy too.
Oh yeah, that would be tough.
Maybe move so that you just hit both of the water elementals.
Yeah, probably. I'm
Okay.
gonna move this way so I can hit
He's
both.
going to make an opportunity attack on you, and he's going to miss.
Okay.
Who did that?
The little guy.
The frog.
Little guy.
Not the frog.
Yeah,
Yeah,
fuck
fuck
that guy.
So 2 and Diandra make dex saves, and Diandra is at disadvantage because of Hex.
Okay. Okay, so you're just going for those 3.
Number 2 and Diandra.
Okay, so number 2, he fails. Diandra's at disadvantage because of,
Yep.
Okay. Jesus.
Okay. So that should be 11 points of damage for anyone who fails.
9 for Diandra for the dex.
That fails.
So you hunker down, mouth opens, crackling lightning zaps, illuminates the cave even more as just to add to the pulsing light of this energy that's pouring seawater into this chamber, and it fries the little fish guy. It does. Diandra's not able to dodge out of the way, but as the lightning goes in, you start to see it arc out a little bit and do a little bit of damage, but the watery form seems to resist it a little bit.
Okay.
So 11. Is what
11 lightning.
11.
Yep. And then for my bonus action,
Okay.
I'm going to cast Mass Healing Word as a level 3 spell.
Okay.
To save my level 4 spell slot.
And how does that work?
6 people within range heal 1d4 plus whiz.
What's the range?
60 feet. It should hit it. It hit everyone when I was back in position
Okay.
before, so it should hit everyone now. And I should be able to see everyone now too.
Yep.
Because we're up.
Oh, you've done this before?
So that's 6 healing to everyone, or 8 healing to anyone who takes max healing from rolls.
Lumi's not on me because we kept her
Dang.
Takes a what?
elsewhere.
So yeah, 6 healing to everyone.
Oh yeah. I hope she's okay and not in a cage and dead.
Ideally. And that's my turn.
You, after shooting your lightning, you say that a prayer to Bahamut, and this platinum light illuminates the chamber and falls on everyone, and you a little bit of healing goes upon you. And then after you do that, Diandra shifts around and siphons once again from Bakugul's skull, and her body changed to acid. With that, Anula.
Alright, I am going to make an arrow attack on the one that is by me, so disadvantage.
I'm sorry about your ears, Anulin.
Yeah, that was weird. It was unfortunate.
You're gonna attack this little guy here?
Oh yeah, that got me at work the other day. I thought I was gonna lose my hearing. It hurts so goddamn bad.
Yeah.
I rolled 2 4s, so it's 14.
14 hits.
Hey.
And that one is undamaged. It didn't take any damage from Diandra, right?
Correct.
Right.
Because it would have blown up. That is 9 damage.
9 damage. You shoot an arrow through its chest. It collapses into the water.
Okay, I'm gonna make my second attack on the other small one. In front of me.
I think.
It's number 5. It's
Number 5. Yep.
Get it, girl.
Don't
20
fuck up.
to hit.
Hits.
And he should be damaged.
8 damage.
No, he succeeded.
He still took half damage though.
Oh, he's dead then.
Oh.
He was dead, so who does that affect, I guess? Does he have to roll again?
Does she want to do the other little
why
one?
Why don't you? Yeah, if you want to shoot the other little guy, that's fine. Sorry about that.
You can. That guy was dead. You can kill this
Yeah.
third guy here.
I tried to clarify, and I thought you just told me the.
I thought I said that it was half damage.
Oh, okay, yeah, I
But
misunderstood.
no worries.
My fault.
So then is that little one still alive?
Number 3 is the last little guy alive.
She already
Okay,
she
well
hit
then-
with a 20
so
and she just.
eight-
Oh yeah, he's dead. He's dead. You boop him. Thank you.
Okay. And then my lion is going to make.
He's thrashing about wildly, trying to paddle
in the water.
in the water.
He's going to make a really good attempt to swim towards me.
How
You
fast
didn't
can you
believe
go?
it?
How does swimming work? Mizuki, quick!
He's
Quick! Mizuki!
So
I think
he
it's
can
half
move
speed.
half his speed in the water, so he can move 25, right?
Yeah, so I'm just gonna say lion, like.
One,
What did I say his name
two,
is?
Crikey.
Crikey.
Crikey, swim towards me. Because he can follow my.
3.5.
He's completely soaked from like the initial dunk. It's completely soaked his mane, so it's like that kind of wet.
So he
cat
can
thing.
make it further than like he can come around here or he can stay there.
Yeah, he's fine there. That's good.
Okay.
Alright, and then I guess that is the end of that.
Do we ever stop being deafened, by the way?
For a minute.
Oh, okay.
So probably not.
So whenever fairy fire falls off,
Gotcha.
Are we keeping track of that?
Yeah, she's got it.
so that'll be a good way. Okay.
I was using
Thunk,
it for spirit.
But you
guardian.
guys
you
were
snipe both.
deafened
You
around
kill the
the
remaining of the
perimeter.
Kuotoa. They sink
Yeah.
into the water, and your
Okay,
Crikey
well.
tries to swim over to you.
You guys should
And
get 3 rounds.
with
not
that,
2.
Rodek's turn.
I whip out my silver horn of Valhalla and I blow into it. And when I do,
Can you choose where they go?
3, 4, 5, 6, 7 berserkers are summoned within 60 feet.
Damn.
Do you have all their stats?
Yep.
Do you have a way to
Holy smokes, you have an army in a can.
So, as you're standing,
Heyo.
as you're standing on the water, this huge elemental looming over you, you grab out the silver war horn that Dobro gave to you. You blow into it, it lets out this that completely echoes through the cavern, and almost like the still kind of stops everything. And you see a shimmering all around Diandra, and it's not like a shimmering from water. All of a sudden, these horned helmet, long bearded, tattooed, spiritual looking, Viking looking
figures emerge all around her. They raise their axes, swords, maces, and they let out this vicious, bloodthirsty cry. And they can telepathically speak with you, right?
No.
Oh, so they just start. They see a monster in front of them, and
they go to town.
Hark, the Midgard serpent! And they start going to town.
Okay, so I got it here. Hold on.
Right to the attack.
Can you number them and keep track of them? Because I'm not keeping track of them.
Yeah. So I'll keep track of it all.
Okay.
Okay. So.
Can you all take your turns right now?
Yes.
Alright, perfect.
So can I just get a couple d20s from you? Or like, can you give me 50 d20s?
Just take all my d20s. Let's get this over with.
Sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4.
You don't have enough because they all need to be at advantage.
5, 6, 7.
We'll just
Oh,
get,
shit.
yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah,
hold
they
on.
all get advantage.
14.
1 misses.
Natural.
1 crit.
1 natural.
So I'm just gonna 1 crit. 1 hit probably 17.
18 AC.
Okay.
Just, yeah, come on.
11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So that misses. How many rolls is that? Another hit.
That one. So you've had 2 misses, 3 hits. You have 2 more rolls.
13, 14, 15, 16, 18. And then how many more rolls?
1 more.
1 more roll. 13, 14, 18.
Okay.
So
You roll 6 damages because of the crit.
right.
You hit 5 times and 1 crit.
So the damage on it is 1d12 plus 3 slashing damage.
So roll your crit first.
So on my crit first. That's pretty good.
Wow.
That's pretty good. 20, 23, 24,
Plus.
25, 26 for the 1 attack.
They just have regular weapons, right? They're not magic.
Yeah.
Okay. So they are hacking and slashing as water is flying all
So did
over.
you get that? Or should I write this down?
You
I'm
can
writing
write
it
it down.
Okay, so you have 26.
Yeah, 26.
And then I'm going to do 2 more.
It's plus nothing?
No, it's plus 3.
Okay.
So, okay. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 for the next 2.
Okay.
So that's 3 so far.
11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21.
Okay.
And that should be the
And
last
then
2, right?
And I need, it's 2, 4, 5. I have 1 more.
You only
hit
with
the 5.
Oh, I think you said 6.
No, you only
Yeah,
hit
right.
5.
I was confused.
So what's the total damage on
Sorry.
that?
26 plus 17 plus 21.
Dang!
1 moment. Then I can cut it in half. I'll do the calculator business.
So while you do that,
That's
we're
like-
gonna roll damage as
That's like 64
they're just
damage.
hacking apart viciously as acid is spraying on them from all
30,
their
32 damage.
32 damage halved. So we're gonna
It's already
no,
half.
64,
It's already
that
half.
is the half amount.
1. Jesus Christ.
Give me the
Okay.
marker. The X
I'm
on
just
the
gonna do separate
stretch.
rolls for these. No, I'm just gonna just do 1 roll for all of them, just for 5 of them.
Yep.
That is going to be 16 points of acid
Oh,
damage.
jeez.
Sprays on all the ones that hit. So I don't really care which ones they are, honestly. Just
Okay.
choose. That's your turn, right, Riddick? Or do you
16 each.
go? Yes.
Okay.
9 plus 7, right?
Here, you can
How
put
much
these.
life do
You
they
can
have?
put these under them to label them.
67.
Okay.
What?
Okay.
Mikey gave it to him. I want to tell you.
It's the worst one! Anyway. Okay, so Rhoda's turn is over. She can't do any legendary actions. I already did it.
Five.
Layer action 2.
Under them, so that if Mikey does something that affects them, no.
So it says 1 through 7.
Yeah, I labeled them, so just stick them under there.
Now that the water has risen to that second being water. Hold on, actually, I want to see what her other layer action is. I haven't done that.
Oh, this one just kill everybody? Perfect.
Unbelievable.
Kill all berserkers.
So,
yeah.
she lets out a roar and breathes this icy fog that covers a 40-foot radius around her. So, what's 40 feet? Let's mark that off here real quick, ladies and gentlemen.
10 more than 30.
And 10 less than 50.
Is that including? Is like from the center?
From the center of her.
All right, so that's.
Can I say I moved here too?
That's fine.
If she's right here, then that's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. 40.
It's a lot.
Okay.
That circle.
So we'd get
It's
everything.
It's the whole thing. A freezing fog covers the entire battlefield, and it's so frigid that it's starting to nip at your
Nips.
at your nips. Oh, it's Vanners.
Okay. So the water's risen, you said, at the second level?
Yeah, as the second level, but it's so cold you're going to take 5 points of cold damage.
Well, that's not very fun. Don't worry, I'm still alive.
Nah.
So
take your
it
d20s
would
back. Can you get me mine?
be, I'm able to get to her then now that the water level has risen, correct? Because I'm not at a horrible disadvantage from our good friend Pythagoras.
Yeah.
It's a bonus action to use a potion, correct?
Yes.
I'd like to use my bonus action if Nikki, the item keeper, says that I have one.
You have 5.
No, we all
5
should
of them.
Yes.
We stocked out, didn't we? Like,
Yeah, the only one who
Yeah, I
used
thought
one
so.
was
That's
Rhoda.
the only thing I didn't write down, though, so that's on me. So what level are they, like potions-wise?
Their greater healing, it's 4d4 plus 4.
Alright, I'm gonna use one of those then as
Okay.
my bonus
Okay.
action.
Marked it off.
You have it on your belt. You uncork it and chug it just real quick.
That'll
You
heal me for
rapid-
9 plus 4 is 13.
Rapidly quaffing.
Awesome.
You quaff so rapidly.
Quaffing all the way to the bank, you know
I
what
turn to
I'm saying?
Mathias and I say, "Thank you, friend, for helping me. I'm not done yet." And I charge in.
I can't hear you!
Oh, that's right. I said, no.
Watery fuck guy!
Okay.
Still disadvantaged, correct?
Yeah.
And I'd say she's engaged with other people at this point.
She's engaged, what?
I'm just furious.
25. That hits.
Points of damage. It's one of the worst rolls I've ever had in my life. It's almost minimum damage.
16 points. Venom spine cuts in and slashes through her watery form.
I didn't know there was a 0 on this dice.
And that's your turn, right, Vanish? Okay, Sylvie, you are going to take
Is it managed? Oh, I guess I.
9 points of cold damage as the fog chills you bitterly.
Okay.
Are you dead yet?
The cold doesn't bother me anymore.
Is that how it goes?
I mean, it takes my health. It just
Though,
doesn't bother
Andy,
me.
you do take
Oh boy.
15 points of acid damage.
Stop.
Will that uncannily dodge?
I don't know, can you?
Yeah.
I assume so.
Starts at the start of his turn.
Yeah, it's already your turn. Just you can't do it again.
Correct.
Until the start
Okay.
of your next turn.
So I'm gonna use the spiritual weapon. And it's not gonna hit because that would have been a 16.
Yep.
I don't know why I keep using you.
It sucks.
And then I'm gonna 19 for 1 Eldritch Blast. Oh, and half my movement to stand up. And then
Are you moving on the ground?
23 for the other
Both
one.
hit, roll damage.
Huh?
Are you moving onto the ground?
Yeah, I'll be,
Okay.
somewhere I can.
Just off the water, the cold
Yeah.
water.
And these 2 guys and these 2 guys. So 7. What's 16 plus 6? Because I'm dumb.
6 plus 6?
16 plus 6.
22.
Okay, yeah, that's what it hits for.
22 damage for both of them?
Yeah.
Both your glitter
And
lances
half my other thing.
water blasts off. 22
I don't know
points
why
of
I couldn't
damage.
get
Okay.
I don't even know
Now it's Diandra's turn.
Who? Nah, I gotcha.
Blue?
Wait, what are we fighting?
Sephiroth shows up. Wings.
I kind of like this idea. So, what's a 20-foot radius? How big is that?
It's huge. It's half of 40.
10, 15, 20. That's everyone again.
Well, is it
It
based on her
definitely Mrs.
or a
Rodak.
point?
Yeah, Mrs. Rodak, but
Radius around her or radius
5,
around
10,
the point?
15, 20. I think that misses me, Rodak, and maybe Angel.
So not around her.
does it hit me?
If it's on a point, it's just 1, 2, it's 8 across.
8 across. Could I get all 5 of you in it?
Let's see.
I doubt it.
If Vandris is Vandris here?
Vandris is right there next to you.
It's a radius.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah.
Okay. So her eyes glow again, and she starts to channel a smaller cloud forms in a 20-foot radius around the 5 of you, and I guess one of those dudes, one of those dudes, and hail starts to rain down upon you. And everyone makes a dex saving throw, please.
Yeah!
This is
I'm not in the queue, so I'll just hang out.
18.
15?
Natural 1.
19.
I'm terrible at dex. I got a 28.
Everyone
Awful.
who rolled
Get
an
out.
18 or higher passes.
Okay.
So you take half of this damage that I'm about to roll.
Okay.
I take none because I have evasion.
Oh!
No, that's good.
So
Good.
you take 9 points of bludgeoning damage plus 9 points of bludgeoning damage plus
Holy shit.
14 points of cold damage.
Wait,
As-
you also take bludgeoning? Wait, what is it?
Yes. So it was 9 points of bludgeoning damage and 14 points. What did I just say?
Yeah.
14 points of cold damage.
Okay, Sylvia is now unconscious if you wanna.
As
flip her
hail
over.
just pelts you, and Van is able to just dance through the hail and not take any damage.
Dodging rain, yeah.
He's a little
9
noodle.
plus 14 is...
That's her act. That's her turn.
23,
Matthias.
right?
That's Mathias' turn.
Yeah.
Can you pass it to me? My pen?
Huh?
I'm guessing you use my pen to write this or no?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
I mean, I guess I'm feeling pretty good, so I'll just get over here and do one of these. That'd be 15 movement, I guess.
Yep.
And then I will make my 2 attacks. 2, oh god, with advantage. Jesus. Alright, that's 49, that's like, it's 18, right? So let's just do it again. Natural 20.
Wow. Okay.
And I don't have to roll again, so I'll just do this.
Does that count?
15 points of damage to her.
How much?
And 15.
15 with the natural 20.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I was rolling, no, I was totally rolling a d8. I just
Plus your
sucked.
modifier.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
And sneak attack?
Oh, I haven't been doing
Double
sneak attack.
Double
At
sneak
all?
attack.
I'm an idiot. I haven't done it the entire time. 6, 8, 10, 14, plus 14.
How much? What was it? So
It was
16 plus 14.
Yeah, so,
So
30 is
difference.
50, yeah. And then I'll move back, because I can do that without an opportunity tank. I fancily footworked my way
Okay.
back.
So you are able to swing your cutlass. It singes her, the dark magic slicing through her flesh. She lets out a roar. And
How's she
you're able
looking?
to hop back. She's looking wounded. She's starting to look a little bit desperate.
All right. Would you say she was bloodied if she could bleed blood?
I don't know. And as soon as you do that, that tendril, you see the water tendril that's connecting the blade of the trident to that radiating portal, but there's another tendril goes back into Bakragul's skull, and she turns her body to acid again.
I didn't take any cold damage.
Okay, yeah.
Do you need to roll for the fog, or am I?
No,
I'm immune to freezing fog because I'm a pirate. I just want to make sure that.
Oh, yes,
you're
you should
hurting
take
me
cold damage.
properly
Thank you.
per the rules.
I forget about my own layer actions here.
It's persisting. The hail.
Not the hail.
The hail, I do not believe was persistent.
This is the
So
top
it's
of
a
the round.
fog. It has
freezing
nothing to
fog.
do with the water.
Got it.
Right.
There's a lot going on.
10 points of cold damage as the fog
You
chills.
forgot to assign homework.
Thank you for reminding me. Bite acid. Okie dokie. So, these two water elementals
We're so fun.
are going to, I guess, just stay on their targets because they don't really have any reason to go off of them. So we're gonna do 2 slam attacks on Rodak.
Do they take damage or anything?
Yeah, they're both pretty damaged, I
Is
think.
this the 4th one?
2 on Ganji.
Yeah. When
Natty
it's
20.
my turn, it'll be the fifth.
Oh, that's good.
And then one more round in there.
That's my friend.
I want to use my reaction to
rounds is the
attack
max.
number 2.
Okay.
And it's 6 seconds around.
I never did mine.
Oh my god.
19, 20, 21, 22. I'll make it a
14 points of bludgeoning damage.
I'm unconscious.
Oh. I'll make it a menacing.
They started their attack there. They didn't take damage. Though.
Wait,
Okay.
14. I'll make it a menacing attack.
Okay.
Or is it Rodek's turn?
So make a.
How was it your turn?
I thought it was.
I used my reaction.
You said that those big guys weren't going to go anywhere. I thought they were in your spirit guys.
I lost it last turn.
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
Ooh, reroll that. Better. 11, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23 damage. So, 11 damage halved. And did he make a whiz saving throw?
He failed.
Okay, so he is afraid of me. Wait. Is this... Oh, no, never mind. That was before.
Yeah. Ganji, the one managed to get right... you try to raise your shield up, it gets right in between your armor and smashes you. You are unconscious. And with that, Rhoda does use his reaction to slice one, doing 11 points of damage, and finally hacking through it. Despite it not doing enough, it erupts into water. And,
Number 2?
No, number... Oh, you hit number...
I hit number 2.
Oh, never mind.
It's fine.
Good point of reference.
11 points.
Yeah.
Okay, he's alive. He's looming over Ganji.
Bruce Willis.
Bruce
I
Willis?
see dead people.
You're up.
What you talking about, Willis?
Parry after wound closure, right? So you
Yeah,
stabilize.
I stabilize.
Oh, so you immediately stabilize. And that's it, right?
Does that mean that you're not prone or are you prone?
No, I'm still unconscious. I'm just stable. So I don't have to roll death saves. I'm not in danger of, like, further dying.
Annual, you're
That's
up.
what you want.
But I'm still at 0 HP.
Okay. I'm going to. If I have any spells, actually.
Oh, you take. Hold on.
I'm going to wait patiently.
9 points of cold damage.
Me?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to go to. I guess I just have to scooch over a touch to Ganji, and I'm going to do Cure Wounds on him.
Okay.
Which is 1 action, so 1d8. What's my? This is stupid, but what is my spellcasting modifier?
What's your wisdom?
Wisdom.
Is she a wisdom based?
That is an 8 plus.
Ooh.
Good roll. 8 plus 4.
Wow, nice.
Nice.
Okay. You channel the power of nature, and it brings Ganji back into consciousness as he was slipping away, stabilized, I
8 plus
guess.
4 is 12.
And you have a bonus action?
I don't know why I can't count.
I don't know if I have anything that works with a bonus action, but I'm going
Drinking
you
a
can
potion
drink the
is
potion
the
as a
only
bonus
thing.
Yeah,
action.
drink a potion.
Okay, then I would like to drink a potion.
Okay, you uncork a potion and you chug it.
44 plus 4.
Yeah,
4d4 plus 4.
4 dice 4 plus 4.
4 dice 4.
40, 40, 40, 40, 40, 40, 40, 40.
Can I get some d20s, fellas?
Oh god, I hate
Okay,
this.
so that is 41.
I could go into my car and do like 18.
Oh, I have another.
Do you mind?
Okay, so that is I'm going to move just like one step towards Diandra.
Okay.
I'll keep track of this for
Can you move? Can you move her one step closer towards the other?
Do you want to get on the ground so you stop taking cold damage?
Nothing to do with water.
It has nothing to do with water. It's a fog.
Oh, it's fog. Okay.
Yeah.
So
I'm
one
gonna
step.
stay-
There.
And what's Crikey doing?
Crikey. So basically, I only want to move close enough to allow enough room for Crikey to get in front of me.
Okay. Oh, I see.
So,
So like
Yeah.
here. He can get.
Yeah, he can get
Yeah.
there.
sorry, I just didn't want to be like, well, Crikey moves, and then I
And he's not pedaling around like an idiot anymore.
Yeah, he climbs, heaves himself up onto the stone floor. He slips a little bit, but he shakes his mane out. He's ready to attack.
And so with that movement,
You can pounce. I would say probably not a pounce because he's heaving himself out of the water.
says moving 20 feet.
Okay, fine. He's a sea lion. So.
Actually, look, can you tell he's
That's
just
fine.
She used the
I'll
way
allow it. I'll allow it.
How can you not allow it
Are
when
you
she's
still
so
unconscious?
adorable? Yeah.
Oh,
I'm-
shit.
I was going to heal her, but then I went unconscious and lost my turn.
Well, then he's going to make, what is it? It has to be a bite attack.
Yep.
No. Claw attack, I'm sorry.
Okay,
Claw
we're gonna
attack.
claw in.
And he is advanced because I am near him. Advantage, that is not gonna hit. That is a 13.
13, that misses.
Sure
He
does.
swipes, despite leaping, he heaves himself up so far, he like does a fucking free willy and just smacks back down onto the stone there. Okay,
Great
Rodak.
feline whale.
Rodak.
Okay,
quick.
we're gonna go around the
I'm
horn
keeping
here.
track.
Yeah.
Okay, number one, hits.
Well, you still take 8 points of cold damage,
Rodak does.
and I'm just gonna do all your guys at
And
once.
they all do, right?
No, I'm gonna
Yeah.
do all your guys at once, and that's going to be. Oh, hold on. I'm gonna roll for Crikey, but I'm rolling for your guys first. 10 points of cold to your dudes, and Crikey takes. Crikey takes 10 points of cold damage annually. Okay, so you roll all your berserkers.
So one passed.
You seem well.
Okay, I seem very well. So they all took 10 damage, right?
Yes.
Okay, this got 10, 20, he's still alive. Okay.
Yeah,
So the first one hit.
Yes.
I'm keeping track.
Okay. 8 plus
Gotta be an 18.
5, no. Fail. Hit.
Okay.
Passed.
14 hit. Crit. Hit. Barely.
Okay, Jesus Christ.
So
All right.
what are we doing? Let's do the crit first.
Crit first. All right.
Really
Holy
good.
shit.
24.
That's plus 3, right?
Yeah, 24 damage.
Welcome to Dungeons and Dragons math
20,
homework.
27?
Well, so
24 plus
24 counted the plus.
Okay,
Yeah.
so 24.
24 is the first guy.
Cool.
So the next two guys are 12, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22.
For both.
12 and
For
22.
both.
For two guys.
So for both guys.
The next two are. I can reroll that. Oh no, I can't. I can't reroll that.
That's one.
No.
I didn't reroll any last time, so that's good.
Yeah.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. For now, the next two. How many hit?
Unbelievable.
6.
You have one more.
You have one more.
Made it a good one.
11, 12, 13, 14 damage.
14. All right, just one moment.
So that is
That's
46, 58, 70.
72. I get 72.
Wait.
72. Yeah.
72.
58 plus 4 is 2.
Bonus action, I'm going to use a health
36.
pot.
36 damage. Diandra.
But I'm not sure if you need to have that as a full damage.
36 was just full.
That was.
No, 72 was
Well,
the
you
full
almost
amount.
figured out how to
Yeah.
roll that.
So 17 plus 6 is...
You can't just
23.
You can't just
Okay.
do this. That doesn't count.
I'm just going to I'm going to roll acid for all of them. Everyone that attacked 15 points of acid damage sprays onto them. Rodak, what's your turn actually?
This is gonna be disgusting.
And now, Rodak, what would you like to do?
6 hit, right?
He-
So
he-
all but
Yeah.
one. Okay. This one might do that. So now for my turn, I bonus action potted. I would like to. I'm going to start off with a power attack against number 1. Ooh, 9, 10, 11, 12. I'm going to make it a precision attack.
Okay.
13, 14.
Hits. Barely hits.
Okay.
Use your training to make sure you...
8 damage.
8 damage total.
Number 1.
Halved, yeah, no. You slice into it, water sprays, but it's not that effective.
I will attack it. Oh, no. Plus 10 on top of that. It's a power attack. So add 5 more to that.
Barely hitting him.
Okay. I will attack it again.
Okay.
15, 16, 17, 18.
It's dead.
Okay.
You slice through it and then sinks into
How's number 2 looking?
Number 2, you know, it's watered.
It's watered.
It's watered.
I'm going to use action surge because I think I have to. I am going to 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I'll make it a precision attack. 13, 14, 15, 16.
16?
Yeah.
Okay.
10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 damage.
15 damage to, and then halved is
7.
And
you swing into it, slicing through. It seems to be getting weak.
I would like to attack it again.
Oh, jeez.
Should have power attack. It hits.
Okay.
So I'm going to make it a... Let's make it a menacing attack.
Okay.
I want to kill this fucker.
How many attacks can you do? It's all kosher, right?
This is kosher.
I would just believe you if you told me. Like, I don't
It's his action surge, I think.
Yeah, so we get a second action. So I attack twice, action surge, attack twice.
Jesus.
8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18.
You slice it down,
9,
cut it down, and an elemental explodes. You've cleaved into both of these, and you're just completely drenched. And you walk on the water here.
We're closing in here.
You are surrounding Diandra. That was her action. She's made of acid, so no, whatever. Layer action. Can you guess? Oh, fishies. And they are going to swarm out of the water on Annulin because they are actually laying on the water.
Give a man a fish and they'll fight for a day. Teach a man to...
One's going to go after Rodak, I think, because he was just on there. 2 on Ganji and 3 on Annulin.
Oh shit, we gotta get cool.
Yeah, it's no good.
We gotta get Ganj up, yo.
Okay, so their advantage on Ganji.
Yes.
So, can I get my D20s back, please?
Oh, yeah.
There are 4 of them, the bright blues. Okay.
So what happens if you get hit while you're stable?
He's
I'm alive. I got healed.
Oh, great.
The
You're
spear is
just
going to miss,
Yeah.
bite. It's going to miss. That's going to hit. Spear. You are grappled on the ground, but you take...
You still stand up.
You're grappled on the ground. You take... Oh, wow. A lot of damage here. 3 points of piercing damage. When you're grappled, he's going to go in and bite you. Okay, miss. And then, so you took that damage, and then with 3, they're not at advantage, so I'm just going to do pincer, miss, bite, critical fail, pincer, that's going to hit. That is going to do 5 points of piercing damage. And your grappled, bite on you, that's going to miss. That was 2 guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then last guy, pincer, it's going to miss. Bite, that's going to hit. That is going to be...
On Dandy still?
No, Annulin.
Yeah, it's still on Annulin.
And 5 points of piercing damage as it bites into your flesh, and then Rodek gets 1 guy attacking him. I think that's it, right? Pincer, going to be 2, and then both of those miss horribly. That's the layer action. Vandris, you're up.
Okay. As my bonus bonus action, I'd like to pop another one of those potions.
Okay. You pop another one of your potions, you're chugging it. Your wounds are starting to close up a bit more. Better living throughout them.
12 hit points to keep.
Okay.
I like to think
And
that
then
if you
attack.
squeeze the health potion like spinach from Popeye's can and just goes into the side of the mouth, you know.
So with advantage. Damn, I rolled a 19, so that's 28.
Hits.
That's a bit better. Let's see here.
There's so many dice rolling over here.
You haven't had a potion. I mean,
20.
you haven't had a potion.
You have to
Right.
sit next to this guy.
25 damage?
Fucking crazy.
You did.
I've got my game down.
Your rapier
I'm just making
sinks
sure. No, I
in
got
deep
that.
to 25 damage, to the tune of 25 damage.
Those
It's
are
gonna
kind of
be...
the number
Because
of
like
dice
I have the
you roll.
total, but I want to make sure I know who has how many.
And acid sprays on you, dealing
No dice
The
you roll.
stats for the 5
12 points of acid damage.
Ooh, that's just about what I just sealed off. Nikki, I'm also keeping track now as well. I just didn't know that we each had 5, so.
We got it not too long ago.
Acid
Did,
coats you.
But it's possible
and,
that it's one of the ones that's
Sylvia,
not.
Sylvia, you're up.
Am I
Oh,
taking
and
frost
I just
damage?
wanna back
No, it
up
ended.
so I can just-
Oh, that ended?
Yeah.
Okay,
fog.
so I just do a death save.
Yep.
35, 39,
I-
40.
Can I just?
What? Oh, yeah, that's it. Yeah, sorry.
My disengage.
11.
Okay, pass. Big
Can
bad.
somebody move Vander's back 5 feet?
What's that? Oh, sorry. Did that?
Yep.
Diandra's turn.
So you said it's fire breath?
Mm-hmm.
Let me just.
That's what I have listed.
Yeah, it might not be one that is free because we did
Yeah.
buy like additional stuff.
I mean, I don't even know if it's like a real thing. If it's something that we do.
After she's going to look towards Vandris and make a slam attack.
There's a flask of alchemist
And
fire.
she is going to miss.
That might be it.
She's going to make another slam attack.
Mike, just real quick,
Yep.
the potion of fire breathing that you gave us, is that the alchemist fire flask?
We got that from
That was from
looting the corpse.
Yeah.
I just need to know for D&D Beyond because
It's
it's
for
not
potion of
flying
fire
up.
breath.
It's not pulling it up. So I
Fire
just-
breathing, fire breath.
So it is a fire breathing thing.
It's fire breath.
Is it like the Dragonborn ability?
I don't. It's
No,
3
it's a-
breaths,
It's an up.
and it's in a DMG.
Okay.
Both of her slam attacks
It's
miss
not
on Vandris as she smashes in, and I think that's her turn. Can she do anything else? No. Okay. That is Mathias' turn.
I still can't hear shit. It's fucking infuriating. I'm mumbling now to myself because I realize that nobody can hear anything that I'm saying. Everyone's just staring dumbly around. Yeah, I'll just go like this. I'll just go 2 attacks. That's a natural 1. That's with advantage, right? We're still on advantage
Yeah,
town.
yep.
So that first attack misses. That one hits for 20.
We'll roll again in
Yep,
case
yep,
it's...
yep, yep. 17. Nope. Alright. Still better. And then I'll do
I was hoping it was a code. That I could hit
7 plus
No, it's
you need
Oh,
an
I
action.
need-
13
Yeah,
slashing
you use your
damage
bonus
total.
action to have it repeat the attack.
And then I will back up over here.
So what did you do?
Fuck. 17 damage.
17
Slashing
damage,
total.
flat damage total. Okay. You swing your cutlass, hacking her apart, doing a decent amount of damage, not mitigated. Okay. She's looking like she's getting a little bit weak, but she is trying to power through here. As soon as you do that, she's going to channel the skull of Bakrugul, and she shifts her body back into acid. So anything else to do? Monsters 1. As you start hearing water, the water is gushing and filling up the room more and more and more, and 2 more water elementals come out of the portal and are just going to emerge. Okay. Ganji, you're up. You're conscious.
Yes.
On the ground.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna stand up.
And
Sorry. Use Spirit Guardians as a level 4 spell.
Okay.
That's my bonus action. And then for my normal action, I am going to Sacred Flame Diandra.
Okay.
Which is a dex save, which she's disadvantaged at.
Does she still have hex because you?
Oh.
Concentration.
Okay, never mind. She's not disadvantaged anymore.
Okay.
So it's just a normal one.
She used her legendary resistance to pass.
Okay. So nothing happens.
Tense.
So you call the platinum flame down. It looks like it may hit, and she just resists the magic with her immense power here. But you they need to wait. So they take half damage. Those guys take half damage even if they fail.
They will on the start of
their
their turn.
Okay, I see. Okay, Annulin, you're up.
What time of day is it?
It's hard for you to tell. You've been down here for so long that you could probably guess that it's approaching morning. It's close to dawn, but you're not sure.
Okay, in that case, I'm gonna use my Circlet of Blasting!
Okay.
And I will fire all 3 rays at Diandra.
Okay.
This thing never does any damage, so that sounds more
And they're just spell attacks, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so...
This is bad.
She's gonna be Diandra soon.
Your attack bonus for this is only +5, by the way.
Oh yes, I'm aware.
Okay.
That means I have a 6,
Oh.
a 7, and we'll roll one more.
An 8? It's an 8.
It's a natural one.
It's a 9.
Oh, it's a 9. With that laugh, it seemed like
Oh,
You
a
tap
because,
your
7, 8,
tiara,
9.
and the
Okay.
fire bolts just fly off into every direction. Not hitting her remotely close. Not even close. Rodek, you're up.
Crikey, right?
Oh, Crikey, you're up. Yeah.
Don't skip crazy.
Natural 20.
D20s, guys. Do you mind?
Oh.
Yep.
I'd like mine back.
Take them.
Let their last action be to murder her as they are all.
Here.
No.
Is she in her poison stance?
Yeah.
Why would you give him this?
She's got her
I don't know what I was
Is
thinking.
she hexed?
No.
Okay. Is that what's the purple thing on her?
That's Fairy Fire.
Fairy
Oh,
fire.
and
You're
that was
advantaged.
the hex.
Does that do anything to attack him?
Oh yeah.
Advantage.
No, this is fairy fire.
That's very
Yeah, that should be fine.
It should be on here. This is
Oh,
this is
fairy fire, not hex.
No, that was
He can have double advantage though, right?
the D4 was your dueling smite.
No.
No, just
No,
fairy
that
fire.
was it was
So
purple.
what is Crikey doing?
You resist it.
17 to hit.
Oh,
misses.
okay.
I think
He tries to claw her and doesn't manage to find purchase.
Was that with advantage?
Oh wait, never mind. I don't have spell slots anymore.
Wait, so were all your circle of blastings with advantage too?
You're out of spell slot?
No.
Not of level
They
4
were
spell
not.
slots that have used advantage.
There's
Why don't
no-
you roll an additional die for each of them? and
Don't
see
do
if they
that. You'd hurt Mathias' feelings.
Okay.
She comes back. She's not
Was it
late.
2,
Yeah,
a
yeah,
3, and a
yeah.
4? I think 9. A 1. It was a 1.
Doesn't matter what the original one. They were automatic fails. So just roll
So
3 more.
one of them would have failed.
Oh,
You
one of them
rolled
would have
3.
failed. Yeah.
So one would have failed for sure, but you can roll 3 more times and see if they pass.
So that would have been a 10, which would have failed, I'm
So
assuming.
that would have been a
Yeah.
second fail.
And a 24.
24 hits. So
One
one
hit.
hit.
So that's Scorching Ray.
That's like I'm looking. Okay, so that is 2d6 fire damage.
Okay.
We're all doing this now. It's fun.
This is Sylvie's hanging out right now, please.
I have a.
How much damage?
7.
7 damage. Okay.
Okay, yeah, this is wrong.
2 of the blasts arc off into the cavern. 1 does manage to hit. It does its full damage, but it's not a lot. Rodek, now your turn.
Okay, we're gonna start with the barbarian types.
All right.
Hit.
Okay.
Hit.
Okay.
Hit.
Oh, my dice. Well done, dice.
Hit. Miss. So
That was the one who critted before.
put that on 2, so I know now it matters which one hits because you're probably gonna start dying. Hit. Hit.
I assume you're doing this
1 through 7.
1 through 7,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, I got
So
that.
okay,
All right, so just do
So-
them one at a time.
Did all of them but one hit?
all but one hit.
Yeah, which is
So
5.
all but 1, 2, 3, all but 4 are gonna take acid damage, I assume.
I
So
thought it was 5, but
okay, right. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
They take 12 points.
All-
So just keep
There's
it.
7.
There's 7 of them now.
6 of them are going to take damage.
yeah.
No, only
Oh.
one that misses.
Okay.
But it's which number? Because
12,
he's been marking
13,
off there.
14,
Which I'm
17,
keeping track
18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23 for the first 2.
of.
Jesus
23.
Christ. Why did I give him this?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know what I
I
was
liked
thinking.
it. I'm alright with that.
16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22
22 for the next
for
two.
the next 2.
All right, and the last 2.
Well, I can't use it again for a week,
Let's
so
do
there's that.
There was
And
ever a
pretty
time.
well. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22.
22. So exactly 44, 67 divided by 2, 33.
33 damage.
And everyone takes whatever damage you're about to do in acid.
12.
Except for.
Except for 5.
That's what I thought.
Okay, you're right. So
7's gone.
7's definitely
They're hacking and cleaving. Acid is spraying all over them. They're not bloodthirsty, but water thirsty. I just regular thirsty.
It's just a 10.
They're just regular. They're regular
They're
thirsty.
sexual thirsty.
They're sexual thirsty. They got that thirst. Okay.
And then Rodek is going to go up here, and he would like to use an action to administer a potion to Shelby.
No, he wouldn't.
He sure would.
Administer the potion.
If you know what I'm saying.
And what do you say when you administer a potion?
I would.
Doesn't matter if you can't hear.
She can hear.
Oh, that's true. She wasn't. Well, she's unconscious. She can't hear it either.
Once you.
I just start swallowing the top of my
only
ears.
Annulin can hear this.
So hold on.
Turns out
14, you said? Oh shit, 5 didn't take it.
12 points of acid damage.
It was 12, yeah.
So roll the potion, or whoever rolls the potion.
So I'll roll the potion. 44, right? Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
10 points of healing. You, like a dog, you rub her throat. It gets all the potion down there, but heals her. She's pulled back to consciousness.
And can I use a bonus action to potion myself too, Erwin? Since I have a bonus action left? Can I action potion?
I would say that's, yeah. I would say that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
1,
Yeah. They're rapid quaffing for a reason.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Sexual
7, 8,
thirst.
9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
14? Okay. You chug a potion after a menacing potion. You are just trying to heal up after this onslaught here. Monsters go now.
Okay, so they are all.
Oh.
I believe they are all. Yeah, they're all within range.
Okay.
So
You guys made these 220s.
13,
Yeah, I want mine too.
14, 15, 16, 16. So they're going to take 17 damage if they fail. Half
They're all
that.
dead.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought. Okay.
Right after emerging out of the water, you can see that they're getting their little spears ready, and they are all just completely evaporated.
These tokens are getting some use tonight, I'll tell you. Know what I'm saying?
But with that,
It's lair action, right?
lair action. So she,
Careful, you're moving to the monsters.
Oh,
they're right by the portal. They were by the portal.
Yeah. Just want to make
So
sure we know where they're at.
that same frigid fog rolls back out into the cavern, covering everything. Banners.
Alright, I'm gonna move in and make an attack.
Taking 7 points of cold damage first.
Oh boy. I can math.
So how many potions have I used?
You've used a
more.
total of
4.
3 in total.
I'm gonna
I used 1 last
bonus
time.
action use a potion. I have to.
And then 2
top
on
my
you and 1 on
food.
me.
That was actually a lot. I almost rolled max.
Nice.
14 plus 7 is 21.
Okay.
We can't hear you.
Sorry, I'm just calculating my
Oh,
head.
okay.
No. And now I'm going to attack.
Okay, you chug up another potion and go in with your rapier.
20.
That hits.
$30 points of damage.
30 points of damage. Your rapier crashes into the water. She is thrashing about now. There's a wildness in her eyes. She's looking down at Mathias angrily, down at all of you angrily. These strange barbarians that have come out of fucking nowhere. The lion. She was not expecting this. That's
Jesus Christ, it's a lion!
Yeah. Okay.
Not the lions!
Who is it?
Shelby will stand up
Okay.
on her turn.
Sylvie standing up. Oh, you will take
She's dead.
9 points of cold damage.
No, still got a health.
1.
Yep.
Wow.
That's all I need.
Wow.
And as my...
The cold chills around you.
I still have Bardic Inspiration, I forgot.
Put some clothes on.
So, for my bonus action, I'm going to use my spiritual weapon to whack her.
Okay.
And it will not do it. And then...
The flail flails.
Oh, yeah. 18.
18 hits.
Yay.
And then I have to remember... I wrote it down, so... D8, which is one of these fun little guys.
Nice.
So it's an 8
Plus
plus
4, right?
4. So 12 damage.
12 damage, okay.
Yep. And then I'm going to do my Eldritch Blasties.
Okay. By the way, Andy, Vandris takes 8 points of acid damage. It's acid splashes back out of you.
So 19 for the first glitter lance.
Hits.
And then the other one's going to fail.
Okay. So 19 hit. How much damage did the spiritual weapon do? I'm sorry. I missed that.
8, 12.
12.
And then 9 damage for glitter lance.
9 damage. It blasts in. The one hits one of the pillars to the side. I don't even know how that's possible. It just veers off to the left. And then the other one lances through. 9 damage. She looks very wounded as she's looking around, thrashing about. But it's her turn. And everyone's around her, and she is going to call down hail. And everyone make a dex saving throw.
What's the range on it?
Hold on.
Last time I said it was 20 feet.
Yeah, it was 40.
20. She's gonna be able to drop it on everyone.
Yeah, fine.
Well, I don't know if I'm out of range of it. I don't know if she's like hitting all these guys.
No. She's hitting on the main guy. She
Okay.
can tell.
Okay. Gotcha.
If my line has a dex like stat, does it still roll it?
Yeah.
It says his dex is 15 though. That seems high.
No, add 2. It should say +2 next to that.
+2.
There's a difference between the score and the modifier. You need to add the modifier.
Well, I'm unconscious again. I failed my save.
I got a 23.
Passes.
I got an 18.
Passes.
I got a 10, and then I should roll for all my guys, or what?
Just roll a collective one.
They fail.
Critical fail 7.
Critical
7.
fail, less than 7.
Okay. Hail batters down. You take 10 points of bludgeoning damage.
Yeah, I'm unconscious.
And then, but this is all in one hit. 10 points of bludgeoning damage plus, and then if you take half of this on a save. And then how much cold? Sorry about this.
So you take half of the bludgeoning on a save.
Half of everything on a save.
Okay.
And then, so 10 bludgeoning, 16 cold.
Wow.
So 26 damage total, but if bludgeoning and cold matter. Another cold cloud forms above you, and hail just comes crashing down, bashing you. Vanus once again is just tiptoeing through the tulips, dodging, but it's difficult. Some of you are able to dodge out of the way, but
So
Angie
Ryan got a 5, and I got a 22.
You pass.
So I take.
You take half.
Only part of it, or half?
So you
take them all.
You take 13 damage in total.
Yes.
And Lion
takes the
full 26.
Dies. Okay.
Oh, so he's out.
The lion sucks back up into a.
As soon as the hail, he looks a little bit wounded, and then he zaps back into a little figurine, landing on the ground.
Both
standing
Sylvie
right
and
there.
Gangier.
So these two guys are in range if you want to get Ganji.
2 of us.
Two of them?
Those
Oh,
two
So
are.
yeah,
So,
roll.
so I'll add the damage to that.
Yeah, please. Yeah, that's fine.
And knock Sylvia and I over. Sounds like.
Sylvie and Ganji are knocked
That's 1 and
unconscious
7.
from the assault of the hail.
7 step.
Oh, so 1 and 6.
So that was 26 damage to each of them, right?
Yeah.
6 is dead.
Hey, I killed one.
You killed 3
You
of them.
killed
Now.
3 of them.
Yes.
Man, fuck those guys.
Damage units.
I love those guys, but fuck those guys.
These guys saved their
five.
asses.
I'm screaming, fucking cocksucker, and all that, and I'm running forward. I'm using my bonus action to cast Branding Smite at 2nd level.
Okay.
And that means the next time I hit, I do some additional damage.
Okay. Use your bonus action, and your similar to your Hellish Rebuke, and like it's that same blue fire as your cutlass erupts into a blue flame.
And
Finish
then
her.
I will roll for an attack, and it's an advantage. This is my first attack. That's
Okay.
a 17 plus a bajillion that hits, but
Okay.
that's a natural 20.
I'd like you to roll all of that at the same time, please.
Hell yeah.
That's the first attack. What would you like me to do?
So roll the first attack with
Okay.
with the smite damage and the
Just
weapon
roll,
damage.
roll,
all done.
roll this attack. Roll this attack.
Roll the second
He
attack?
wants
or-
all the damage done at once.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
no, so
Instead of having
roll the
to add
damage
it
for
up.
this attack, right?
Yeah. Roll damage for this attack.
Roll the damage for this
So you
attack.
double all
Okay.
the smite damage and the weapon damage.
That's what
and
I
the
want.
sneak attack damage.
That's what I was hoping for.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
thank you.
You double all.
Yeah, fucking cocksucker! Alright. 13.
Yep.
Oh, that doesn't get rolled again. 13. And for these, 13, 15,
20,
20, 22, 21,
23.
and, 23, and
Don't go
then that's 46 radiant. So that was all slashing. 23,
23 slashing.
3, 4, 7, 10. 10 radiant damage. 33 points of damage total.
So
How do you wanna do
23 of it
this?
was fine.
I am just screaming bloody murder, and I am going to pull out Treachery's end and jump up, and both of my legs up in the air. I swing down. I'm going to crash through her to create 2 miniature waves in every direction, just splattering her across everyone surrounding her.
You are frothing in your rage. You've spent your entire new life waiting for this moment. It's not quite, maybe not quite as satisfying as murdering her human form that you remembered, but you're sure that this is her. You take Treachery's end and your cutlass that you've had with you for these 3 years. It ignites into that hellish flame. You can sense the weakness in her. You sprint up, leaping over the different levels of the pyramid, leaping into the air, and grab your cutlass with both hands. And as soon as it reaches her head, it severs her watery form all the way down. She lets a horrific roar as the light fades from her eyes. And as you're doing this, you see a look of pure hatred in your eyes as you're coming down before the aquamarine light vanishes. And immediately your cutlass starts vibrating.
I'm shocked. I want to continue smacking against the pavement. I want to continue to attack.
as your blade is vibrating, you notice that the water starts to swirl around as some of the water is starting to swirl around as most of it's crashing down. You have also noticed that the blue portal has closed. The light in the trident has gone out. And amidst all of the chaos of this crashing water, you notice a swirling form. From the midst, a spectral shape, you recognize Adelaide Blue. Shrieking, horrified, with sunken eyes, similar to how you've been seeing of other humanoids. The pupil of your blade opens wide. And for a brief moment, she looks at you with the dark pits of her eyes. You can't really see what it is, but you see that she is in absolute agony and terror. She is pulled immediately into the pupil. And as soon as that happens, your cutlass shatters. Metal fragments fly in every single direction. And you manage to dodge out of the way. It wouldn't be enough to do a death saving throw. The eyeball, however, that was in your cutlass remains suspended in midair. Begins to swell. The red of the sphere, remember it was a red sphere with that black pupil, the pupil starts to open, and consumes, and all of a sudden, it's a black sphere that's growing and growing and growing above this skull of Bakrugul. It grows to a massive size right above you, and all of a sudden you hear rushing from the hallway behind you.
Are we still in combat?
Can I have administered a potion to Sylvie during this?
Ganji?
Yeah. I would say while this is happening, you'd be able to use your actions in order to.
You're right there. You're at my feet.
I'm smacking the pavement. I'm screaming,
You did this to yourself, Adelaide! You did this to yourself! You took everything from me!
And it continues to swell, and you are able to start administering potions. You are able to.
Thank you,
hey,
Rabbit.
thanks, Rabbit.
Thanks, hey.
You're able to start hearing again. And all of a sudden, as soon as you're able to start hearing, you hear what sounds like a howling, rushing wind. All of a sudden, 34 different, I think that's what we said it was, wispy forms. And as you're recognizing, you see humanoid figures, Mathias' crew, being sucked towards the eyeball. They hurtle in and are sucked in.
Goodbye, Roland! Goodbye, Mike! Goodbye, Brendan!
They look less horrified than Diandra. They're not screaming or moaning. And you suddenly hear a loud crunching and crashing sound as coming from the same direction. Out from the hallway erupts the Devil's Dew. Pieces fragment and crushed together.
I was worried about
the form
that.
of the ship. Hurdles
Tell us that.
into the eyeball, and it threads the needle, shrinks and crushes in on itself as it smashes into the eyeball, disappears.
this is some Jumanji shit right here. This is sweet.
Hold on one second.
I'm just going to assume these guys are down.
Once the ghost ship is fully enveloped, the orb explodes. You almost like cast your arms back, getting ready for some kind of painful effect, but it's nothing, and you realize that a incredibly, impossibly dark area of shadow has formed, where the orb had floated, right at the center, right around the skull of Bakrugul.
Yeah.
Just turn it upside down, probably.
Smart.
Oh,
And the
it's also
lion's
walking.
dead, so.
Poor lion.
Hold on one second. Impossibly dark shadows in a large radius where the sphere had floated. As the darkness settles, you notice a humanoid figure standing at the center of the supernatural shadow. It's nothing more than a silhouette, but you can see that it's thin and incredibly tall, about 13 feet in height. It seems to be cloaked or robed, and protruding from both sides of its head are what appear to be large, spiraling horns. The figure's eyes open into two large, pupilless circles, glowing like lanterns, with a white hue, but not illuminating anything beyond their sockets. It raises its hand. Well done, Mathias. It may have taken you 3 years, but this soul was worth the wait. I have not encountered a soul so treacherous in centuries.
Aye, treacherous indeed.
Good old credits.
Which is why I selected you. Her orphanage, her lovers, her captain, her crew, her conspirators, and this world, all betrayed. A value of such a soul cannot be understated, and for that, I thank you.
It was my pleasure, truly. Say true.
And you, he extends a long, thin arm to the 5 of you, allies of Mathias, were invaluable. I watched you with great interest and am impressed with your competency. The power I granted Mathias would not have been enough to reap the soul of Adelaide Blue alone. Therefore, I offer a token of my appreciation of your service to me. The silhouette raises a slender arm.
Thank you, Kira.
And extends its long, spindly fingers towards you. You immediately feel a warmth well up inside of you, mixed with a sickening, churning sensation as a feeling of power washes over you. He turns his hand back to Mathias. So, Mathias, you've had your vengeance. Now the contract has been fulfilled by both parties. Come, we return to Nessus.
Aye, may it do you fine. If you'll give me just one moment with me friends.
You've earned a moment, but you will see I am one of my word. And immediately appearing at the edge of the shadow is an incredibly waterlogged scroll, marked up in this crazy-looking script, which you recognize to be Infernal. The rest of you, can any of you speak Infernal? Read Infernal? We'll say. And you notice in large scrolling at the bottom to be Midnight Mathias White, only briefly before it catches fire and evaporates, the embers floating down into the water.
That was the voice I heard when I was drowning at the bottom of the sea.
This one here.
Aye.
Is he still standing there watching
He's just standing there, standing completely straight.
Is that a god?
I know not who this is, but I thank him for all his help, and if there's anything I can be doing for you, friend, you let me know. I think that, per the contract, I, be making my way now.
Where will you go?
I believe I'll be joining my friend here. I'm not sure. Nessus, I think he said.
Do I know where that is?
Make a religion check. And an arcana check.
Okay. That's an 18 for, 15 for religion and 7 for arcana. Or, 10 for arcana. 15 and 10.
The name sounds incredibly familiar to you, but you cannot recall exactly where you would have read it.
Okay.
Mathias.
Aye.
I personally want to thank you for all you've taught me and being willing to rush into battle with me. I'm going to miss you.
Say true. I will miss you too. May it do you fine. And hear me. continue practicing. You're quite a fighter.
Thank you, I will.
Let me bestow you a gift in thanks for our friendship.
And I'll throw him the folding boat.
Perhaps that'll be able to take you to clearer waters someday.
I will actually start looking on my person.
Maybe it can replace a certain other boat.
I don't know what else. I don't suppose I'd be needing this coin purse. Here, take this, and
Sylvie grabs
Sylvie
it.
reaches out.
I'll pull the cane
bloodied.
out. You take this cane to remember me by. And you, Annulin, here. I'll pull the shark tooth necklace off of my neck, and I'll pass that to you as well. It was given to me as a friend by a friend when I was a young man, a fellow named Dobro, very cool gentleman.
The Dobro?
And I think that be everything. Is there anything else from you? No, I think I'll be making me way.
Sylvie, before you get a chance, she's obviously battered and bruised. She walks up, she conjures Mage Hand, and she slaps you across the face with it. And she looks at you and she says,
Well, for one, I know that 2 platinum is not 200 gold. I figured that out while we were walking in here, and that really hurt my feelings. And I will take this cane, and you can take a bit of my heart.
and she sheds a little tear, and she turns away and she just won't look at you anymore.
As strange a creature as when I ever met you. Goodbye, Sylvie, and goodbye to the rest of you.
I expect my pony.
I'd like to say that it's been an honor, and you've been a very valuable ally. And as skeptical as I was of all of this, to be quite honest, you got us here, and you delivered on defeating your quarry. And I respect that, and I wish you well in your next journey.
I hope you find the same satisfaction as I did on this journey. Thank you also for aiding me in my quest.
I'll tip my hat, and
I think we'd be moving on.
Wait, before you go,
Treat him well.
who are you?
You may find out in due time. Mathias, come, and he beckons you into the shadows.
I'll start to limply walk and follow you into the portal.
Axe up.
Mathias, with the limp, no longer with the cane, a very slight limp, he walks into the shadow, and as soon as he gets in, you can only see a silhouette of him. And Mathias turns to face you, standing before this figure. The figure places a large, spindly-fingered hand onto his shoulder. And the head turns, looks at Mathias, looks back. One more thing. When next you see Alphonse, tell him he cannot run and hide forever. He can drink from his cup, from my cup. But a deal is a deal, and I always collect. Farewell, until next we meet. The lantern-like eyes close, and the silhouette fades into the darkness, along with Mathias. A moment later, the area of supernatural shadow has dissipated. Quiet returns to the cavern, and the five of you stand alone.
Quiet except for my sobbing.
I collapse on the ground and am resting on my axe.
Well, I never thought Santa would be quite like that.
Quite so piratey.
Yeah.
I certainly wasn't expecting that.
I can't believe he's gone.
I can't believe you mentioned Alphonse.
I can't believe he mentioned Dobro.
Who was that guy?
Well, that was Santa. We've been spending 2 weeks with him.
I've got a feeling it won't be the last we see of him.
I have a feeling the next time we see him, it's not going to be a fun time for us.
Alphonse or...
Well, either of them.
I don't know. That guy seemed okay. I mean, he helped Mathias get his vengeance, and, you know, when he was dead after all, could have just ended there with Diandra killing him, and, well...
Yeah.
He got to take her out of this world, and...
He did.
I don't know who he is, or what he is, or... I wonder if he hangs his clothes on those horns. Regardless, I mean, I got a weird feeling about him, but he at least did one good thing, I guess. For us and for him.
What is that?
And, you know, I do think that LeBlanc is a vampire. I mean, Dracula.
Well, yes. That's
well, they are
almost
one and
I
the
think
same,
there's
after
a lot
all.
to think about.
So, well, my point being, not to turn this frown upside down, but if that weird curly-horned dark shadow man, that slender man, if you will, if he does not like Dracula, and I don't like Dracula, and he did a nice thing for my dearest romantically involved Santa Claus, then, I don't know, doesn't seem so bad to me.
I think for now we need to get out of this cave.
Well, I don't know, I kind of like it in here.
Also, we don't have a boat anymore.
Well, we have a little boat.
We do?
I hope I can remember the
pocket boat.
Well,
magic phrase.
So this is my concern, though, and like I don't want to ruin it or anything, but Orpheus kind of got away. Sorry, Diandra. And well, when he did, I don't know if you guys heard him say it, but like it sounds like all of those like weird alligator guys belong to him, and they could still be on the island. So
I bet they are, but
I mean, so I don't know about you guys, but like I can. Oh, I can do that. I can make a little hut we could all sleep in for the night, and no one can get in but us, and we can figure it out in the morning when we feel better.
I would say let's get out of this immediate room.
I would.
But then yes, I think that's a good idea.
I think we should at least try to get out.
I think maybe we should go get that
The
poor
lady.
drowned woman.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Poor drowned women, let's get back to Lumi and let's see what the situation is
So, like,
outside.
maybe we
I'd
could
rather
do
not
it,
spend the night in a creepy dragon.
we could do it
I
in the
agree
cave of
with
the
that.
mouth.
In the cave of the mouth?
Yeah, right by the
Let's take
teeth.
a look around before we leave, though. Is there anything else that we need
Yeah,
to
do
think
like
about?
a thorough investigation.
What happened to the
right there.
trident?
Make an investigation check.
And I want to investigate the skull itself,
That's gonna be a 20.
if that's okay.
You look around, and as the shadow had faded, you see that where the figure had stood is nothing but a pile of bone dust and a fragmented trident.
And is there anything interesting on the trident, or does it look?
It looks like whatever it was had a number of runes on them. If you had seen this up close when you were, or it's a little bit, I guess, less up close than this, but in its full form, there were strange markings and symbols. Seemed to have some kind of writing on them, and it seemed to have been an artifact of pretty incredible power, but you're not sure whether it was disrupting, killing Diandra in her ascended form, or whether it was the figure, the being that had spoken to you being right directly over it. You can't be sure, but either way, it's completely devastated.
Well, friends, I need all of your bags of wits, please.
And I hold out my hands, and I want to
fished
take.
mine out.
I take all their bags of wits, and I start like shuffling some of the dragon bone dust into the bag of wits, and I hand it back.
I feel a lot wittier and less dead after that, and so we should take a token of our victory.
What did the dude like give
Less
us?
witty,
by the
more
way?
witty.
That's what we do next.
Okay.
So I just like to. What do you guys want to do?
Well, I think our immediate plan is once everything's been investigated, we want to eventually go back to the mouth of the cave, find this girl, and post up in the secret hut.
Yep.
Okay. So as you take a look around, you still have water walking, I guess, at this point. Maybe it's running off. I don't know.
I can recast it.
So walking empty channels, you all sit down, kind of dealing with what just happened, and what have all just happened, and you're finally given some opportunity to kind of feel and like put your mind's eye in whatever pit of power that that this being gave you. And so I don't know how we want to do it for the remote folks. I'll send you this, but for Rhoda.
So this is
Do you want
potentially
me to
secret
read them?
information.
Yeah.
Or it's secret?
No. Then should not as I mean it could be.
Oh.
Well,
It's just individual to each
so
of us.
it's individual powers. I mean, I don't think it'd be something that you'd want to be secret. It's basically just like a different form of loot.
So do you want me to? Should
So
I
yeah.
read theirs
Yeah.
for them?
Do you guys want to?
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you want me to read all of them?
Yeah. Right.
Okay, sure. The frigid winds of Cana. This is for
That is for Annual.
for Annual.
Annual.
Your arrow turns icy cold, imbued with the howling winds that butter the frozen wastes of Cana, allowing you to chill your enemies and blow them away from you. You use an action to fire an enchanted arrow that transforms into a fiendishly cold wind once fired. Your target must make a dexterity saving throw, taking 1d10 plus wisdom modifier of cold damage on a failed save. You may then move the target and any number of creatures within 15 feet of it up to 5 feet away from you. Each creature moved takes cold damage equal to your constitution modifier. You regain the use of this power each dawn. So it's once a day. That's awesome. Exploited Loophole of Dis.
That is
for
for
Andy.
Avantris.
Daily power. You harness the shrewd contractual maneuvering of the bargaining devils that reside in the great iron city of Dis, allowing you a second chance to turn your failure into a success. If you miss an attack against a target, you may use your bonus action to make an additional attack against that same target, adding your charisma modifier as an extra bonus to the attack. You regain the use of this power each dawn.
Holy shit.
I'll read Ganges. Storming Bolt of Stygia? Stygia. Daily power. Your weapon crackles with lightning from the stormy skies of Stygia, granting you the ability to hurl it at your foes and ride the lightning toward them. You use an action to throw your empowered melee weapon at an enemy within 30 feet, making a ranged spell attack. If it hits, it deals weapon damage plus your wisdom mod and 1d6 lightning damage. You can then choose to teleport yourself or an ally within 25 feet of you to a spot adjacent to the target.
Holy shit.
The weapon then returns to your hand. You regain the use of this power each dawn. Sundering Strike of Avernus. Sorry, Skids. Your weapon ignites... This is Rodex. Your weapon ignites with the blazing fury of the war-torn battlefields of Avernus, allowing you to rend open a weakness in your opponent's defenses. When you hit with a melee attack, you may use a bonus action to rend a weakness in your target's defenses. Until the end of your next turn, any attack roll of 18, 19, or 20 against the target scores a critical hit. You regain the use of this power each dawn.
Hell yeah.
This is for Sylvie. Maddening Imp of Malbolge. You call forth a meddlesome imp spawned from the rotting remains of the long-deposed ruler of Malbolge, the Hag Countess, that racks your enemy's mind and drives it temporarily mad. You use an action to summon an imp on an unoccupied spot adjacent to your target that lasts until the end of your next turn. The target must make a wisdom saving throw or take 1d10 plus your charisma modifier of psychic damage. You may then move the target up to 10 feet and force it to use its reaction to make a basic attack against a creature of your choice. Any enemies adjacent to the imp have disadvantage on attack rolls. Wow. You gain the use of this power each dawn.
Wow.
That is amazing.
You can
legit.
This new power, you feel definitely more powerful, but it kind of doesn't feel great. It feels like there's a darkness there in the power that you've gotten. And you've taken some time. It's been a bit of a time, and you are holding the things that Mathias gave you. And Annulin, you have this huge sharp-toothed necklace that actually almost looks identical to the one that Dobro wore around his neck. Sylvie, you have Matthias's cane. It has a ruby on the top, the rubies. A ruby on the top, and what seems to be a dark black leather that is almost like an aqua, but it's so dark it looks black. And you spend enough time to realize that these are both magical items.
Amazing. So, Annulin, you have Sharpbane's Fortitude. It's a wondrous item. It is rare. It requires attunement by a primal class. Your constitution score is 19 while you wear this necklace. It has no effect on you if your constitution is 19 or higher without it. That's awesome.
Holy shit.
What the hell?
Wayward Soul. It is a rod. It is rare, and it requires attunement by a warlock. While holding this rod, you gain a +2 bonus to spell attack rolls and to saving throw DCs of your warlock spells. In addition, you can regain 1 warlock spell slot as an action while holding the rod. You can't use this property again until you finish a long rest.
And as you examine the ruby, you get a sense of where the name may come from. It's not very often, but you can occasionally see a little blue figure inside. A wispy-looking figure with sunken eye holes and a long mouth.
The beast! The beast!
Is
It's
it
a ball!
Diandra in the ruby?
Yeah. Probably.
Dude, we're OP as hell.
Oh my god. So, Annulin, I just want to tell you that, so obviously Santa loves me because he left me with the remains or the spirit of his ex-girlfriend. I guess it was his daughter. That's gross, isn't it? Ew. Is this my
I'm
stepdaughter?
not sure there's any of those.
Does this
but
make it... Is she my stepdaughter now?
let's not think about that.
Yeah, I
How
want to go
about
to
that?
bed.
She's dead, so
Well, she's kind of in my ruby.
still counts as dead, I
I
think.
can laugh at her whenever I
I
want.
hope we didn't unwittingly sign any strange contracts with that being.
This
I
does
Well-
not feel
a
great.
little dark.
No, it doesn't, but... Well, I guess I don't know how devils work, or demons. But
Sure,
I know
okay.
that for the Fae... I mean... If it were a Fae creature, we could have. Kind of.
He granted us this power without
But he
even
didn't
asking
ask
us.
for anything.
He didn't
in
ask.
return.
He didn't give us a chance to refuse.
It's
feels
still a bit
strange.
concerning, in my opinion.
It has. It has.
We should
the
probably
coin
make
purse.
haste.
I was getting there, don't worry. How much was in the coin purse?
You open the coin purse, and holy shit. You knew Mathias was loaded. He was carrying 500 platinum pieces on his person.
Nice, very nice.
Well, this definitely makes up
498.
for the...
498.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, 498.
True.
I was literally just going to say it makes up for that 2 platinum due.
Nope.
And now, kind of dealing with this new power that you got and understanding, kind of trying to figure out what just happened, you make your way back through the temple.
I
and
stand
that's-
up and I go,
To the
all right,
Cleaving
lads,
house.
let's go. And then my 4 barbarians.
They just
How long
walk
are they
jerking
out?
off the
How
whole
long
An
are
time.
hour.
Oh,
They dissipate at some point.
In my head canon, they jumped in the water and killed the 2 guys that summoned, but then died.
Oh, they'd been sucked into the portal
Okay.
when it collapsed, but
Okay.
I was just too focused on the drama. And you leave this final resting place of the skull of Bakrugul, hopefully forever. And that's where we'll end the session.
Well, are we gonna do the tiny hut, though, and, like, go to sleep? Can we do that?
You can say that, yeah. You can say that you guys are tiny, but I would like to give you guys the chance to like talk about where you want to put it and like and
Okay.
do
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
So I don't want to just say, oh, you're here, tough shit, like you know. So you guys can
Gotcha.
plan next session. But that's where we'll end the session.
So Derek and Mikey,
Thank you, Derek,
thank you.
for
wonderful player.
for guest
Amazing
player
job.
Derek for 5 sessions.
Yeah.
It's been
Thank
great.
you.
It's
I'm
been
gonna
great.
miss this.
Yeah.
Now
It's,
get off our stream and don't come back.
I'll come back as a new character, damn it.
I know, I'm so sad. It doesn't feel right having you leave.
I know.
You're just gonna be so lonely.
What are we gonna do
Yeah.
without Mathias?
I don't know.
I had this like really sad dawning moment where I figured out what was happening because in my head I was like, I don't want to leave.
He's a revenant, you know.
Yeah.
It's kind of the deal.
I completed my shit.
Not that Sylvie gave a shit about
And,
Dobro. It was
and-
definitely worse than that.
And per old school D&D tradition,
No, don't rip
you
it!
get my character sheet as DM.
I'm not gonna rip it.
Okay, good.
I'm not dead.
Maybe
No.
frame it.
Whew.
Well, you kind of.
Thank you.
I would have ripped it when I died.
Well, you
Should've
can't,
been ripped
you
the whole
can't, you can't
time.
start the game. Yeah, you can't start the game. With
Well-
So if Sylvie dies, is Mikey gonna like chuck my iPad against
Well, that's
the
what I
wall?
was gonna say. That was my thing when I had it on my.
Takes out some
phone.
scissors and cuts
Yeah.
the phone in half.
Ceremonial deletion.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me. This has been mega fun. I've been having the best time. It's really hard to do a Pirates accent for that extended period of time, but I will miss Mathias. So you treated him right, and that natural 20, fuck yes.
You can't write that.
That was a good way
You
to end
can't
it.
write that.
You can't fucking
And I didn't even like fudge the health at all.
Yeah.
Can you tell us how much of an overkill it was?
She was really weak. It was a considerable overkill.
Okay.
It was a considerable overkill on the second attack.
I had a second attack.
You had a second attack. And for those of you who don't know, Derek's actually my DM confidant. We've talked about basically everything. He's probably watched more, unless any of you can beat him. He's watched literally every single minute of Legends of Avantris.
Yeah.
That we've streamed.
That we've streamed, yeah. So he's...
Starting with Pumpkin Dude and moving forward from there.
Yeah.
Whatever the Harvest King or whatever.
You helped me plan that. That was in stream. So you were there in spirit.
It's on Facebook. You love
is it?
That we're crazy about. Anyway.
So thank you so much for coming, Derek. It's been a blast, and thank you guys for tuning in. I know that it was combat. It was a big boss fight. We wanted to have.
This was a 4-cheer episode. That was
yeah.
a record.
Yeah. Oh wow! Thank you guys.
Love you, Twitch chat.
Yeah,
You guys are awesome. We have a Discord link in our description in Twitch if you guys want to hang out. If you're on Facebook, check us out on Twitch. It's a lot of fun. And anything else we should mention?
We have Feywild on Monday. We haven't done the Feywild in a while, so we're coming back with that on
3 week break,
Monday.
right? 2 week break.
2 week break. Yeah.
I'll be very pleased to get back into the frost of things.
Yeah, so Derek's not going anywhere, just in
here
Avantris
on
Prime
Wednesdays.
on Wednesdays.
And then I'll guest in the Feywild campaign the following week, playing 2 characters at the same time.
Oh,
thank you.
Hey,
you're the best.
Oh, it even says 5-cheer episode on it. I didn't know that. That's
You guys rock.
Awesome. Thank you guys.
Well, I think with that, we'll call it a night. Rich, you want to close out here? Thank you guys for tuning in. We love you as always. You guys are the best.
And we'll see you next time.
Have a great night. See you.